Only we shall know.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Ah, good. Okay. Well, let's take that from the top. Hopefully I'm really sorry that you folks all missed the just truly amazing intro that I was doing over here while the sound wasn't working. Everybody here was in tears, just streaming down their faces. Choirs of angels had entered my very small recording room. It was really crowded in here, but they've left now, so let's try it again. So, good time zone, everyone. I am ARP. My pronouns are he or they. I am facilitating Songs for the Dusk for Roll Plus Bond. We are streaming today to raise money for the North American Rights Fund. They are a nonprofit organization asserting and defending the rights of Indigenous tribes with a focus on 5 key areas: preserve tribal existence, protect tribal natural resources, promote Native American human rights, hold governments accountable, develop Indigenous law, and educate the public. If you would like to donate, and I urge you to do so, you can go to tiltify.com/@rollplusbond or donate.rollplusbond.com. Before we begin with the rest of the introduction today, I want to acknowledge that this stream, right now, I am running this stream on the unceded territory of the Katzie, Coquitlam, Stalo, Kwantlen, Staminas, and Musqueam people, and the treaty land of the Tawasin First Nation. We are playing in support of NARF, as we said, but it is also Settler Saturday today. If you go on to Twitter, you can always search the hashtag Settler Saturday to find Indigenous people in need of direct aid, and you can donate there any day of the week, really, but it's especially on Saturday when these things will be going around. So, as mentioned, today we are playing the game Songs for the Dusk. Songs for the Dusk is a Forged in the Dark game by Kavita Puduri and Quinn Blaler. And to play this game with me today, I have been joined by some excellent individuals. So I am going to ask them to introduce themselves. Let's just go clockwise from the images that you can see on your screen of their wonderful characters. So Vivian, if you'd like to begin.
Hi, my name's Vivi, she, her pronouns. And in this little game, I'm going to be playing Penelope Heresy, who's a cool robot.
An extremely cool robot indeed. Anything that you need to tell people about where they can find you if they really enjoy your performance today?
I am Ocean1212_W on Twitter, and I have an upcoming EP being released with a trans music project called Over At, collaboration with Terry Dressing Giles. Just for a plug. Over At Music is that on Twitter.
Well, thank you for joining us today. We've also got Ben with us today.
Hi, I'm Ben, he, him. I will be playing Ada Grayscale, she, her, who is a gruff, old, loving fish lady. And yeah, I'm excited to be here.
Thank you for joining us. We've also got Devin with us today.
Hi, I'm Devin. I'm going to be playing Lucky, who is a amnesiac alien anime goat boy. And you can find me at Devin Decibel on Twitter. And if you've enjoyed any of the music that has been playing between the streams, I composed a lot of it, and you can find some of that at devindecibel.bandcamp.com. Though some of it has been some sneak peek music for the Songs for the Dusk actual play podcast that I am currently in production of. So check that out when it comes out in a couple months.
Cool.
And finally, we have Miranda.
Hi, I'm Miranda. My pronouns are she, her. I'm going to be playing Somewhere Else Together, also she, her. She is a witch from the Starfire Pelagic who has cool dragon magic. And I also just wanted to acknowledge that I'm going to be playing this game from the territories of the Shumach and the Obispeño tribes.
Thank you.
And you can find me on Twitter at crash_pit.
Sorry.
Thanks.
Sorry, what was that?
And you can find me on Twitter at crash_pit.
Thank you. Was there someone else who was speaking at the moment?
Yeah, I was going to say it, and I'm playing from the land of the Rametish Ohlone people.
Thank you for your acknowledgments. All right. So, Songs for the Dusk. I'm going to read the introduction because it's very good. Once the earth was radiant. It was a time of prosperity like humankind had never seen before. We built impossible cities atop the ocean's waves and in lazy, drifting orbits around our planet. Whole pathogenic strains were eradicated overnight. We started to measure our lifespans in centuries instead of decades. Our machines could touch the fabric of reality, and at night we looked up at the sky and told ourselves that even the stars were within our reach. Then came the cataclysm, the sudden and systemic collapse of every major society on the planet, the natural disasters that tore the sky asunder and ripped the continents to shreds. We crawled into bunkers and stasis pods or ducked our heads under shallow hills and hoped that some of us might make it out alive. And by some miracle or another, we did. We stumbled out into the new world, littered with old technology and dancing with a strange new physics, and we started to rebuild. That's one story, anyway. There's another story of the Radiant Era, one where the miracles were reserved for the few, and the masses were exploited to fuel the world's relentless climb into the heavens. Most people don't like it, but it's impossible to deny. There's a grain of truth to this dystopian vision. Earth's radiance came at the expense of real people's lives and freedoms. The question of how much it cost us, and whether it was worth it, haunt us to this day. Either way, though, the Radiant Era is gone. Right now, all we have is the world in front of us and the job of making it livable again. It's a broken place. When the cataclysm came, it shattered the continents, rearranging them according to some mysterious whim. When we first emerged from the shelters, it was to a world we'd never seen before. Tamaris, a backwater continent cut off from the wider world by a range of sharp-peaked mountains. Something else came with the cataclysm, too. Strange ethereal powers flicker bright within us and course through the soil below. These transcendent forces are part of us now, even as we struggle to understand them. We use them to farm and fish, to heal and grow, and, of course, to fight. And fighting does loom on the horizon. Tamaris maintains an uneasy peace across its 7 regions, but new threats rise every day. In the north, an empire snaps up nearby land in its jaws, while in the south, people whisper that the new queen might have colonial designs of her own. Across the valleys and mountains, mercenaries and arms dealers crash with scrap collectors and DIY inventors over piles of ancient technology, and in the shadows of the continent, assassins and cultists compete for ancient relics and spiritual power. And then there's you, right in the middle, surrounded by the ruins and the overgrowth, with magic flickering within your soul and coursing through the ground beneath you. This is your chance to make sure that this world turns out better than the last one. Let's see if you can pull it off. You're going to be using version 0.5 beta rules of Songs for the Dusk. They're not currently publicly available, but they should be soon. Let's see here. Characters. Setting. So Tamaris is a world. It's a whole world. And it has these 7 regions that were briefly described in the introduction. What we are going to be looking at in terms of our region, and I don't know if you want to move the map down there on Roll20 a little bit so that we can see the southern part. Down here at the bottom of the map, we have the Starfire Pelagic, which is an archipelago. The Starfire Pelagic is it's an archipelago here. You can see it is made up of 5 islands: Mirjan, Rayolta, Koyaya, Sundri, and Mitsua. Just to the east, on the mainland, there's Acanthia, which is a monarchy, and the Seraphin Republic. Acanthia is fairly expansionist at the moment. They are a powerful military force, as well as being, a monarchical single power. And the monarchs of Acanthia, who sit upon the Astatine throne, they gain their power and hold their power through being warriors and fighters. The current queen is Her Majesty Pyrrhode Ren IV. She's young, she's competent, she's bitter, and she's bored, and she's looking for a fight. She doesn't want to take on the Red Empire all the way up in the north because neither one of those groups is entirely certain how powerful they really are compared to the other. They think maybe they're evenly matched. Maybe one thinks they're powerful than the other, but neither one's really willing to test that in open warfare right now. But hey, fortunately, there's this archipelago just to the west. Acanthia is a frequent invader of the Starfire Pelagic. And that's what we're going to be looking at today. Your characters are from this region, or at least you have joined up with people living in communities in this region. You are working as conservationists of megafauna, or colloquially called kaiju. Up on the northern island of Mirjan, there is a reserve where these great creatures can live in peace and be cared for and perhaps studied as non-invasively as possible to ensure that the care being provided for them is as effective as possible. So would you like to tell us about the characters you're playing and perhaps how they found themselves in this line of work? If anyone has a idea they'd like to start with on this.
I can start.
Go for it.
When Somewhere was younger, I never really concretely established how young. My backstory for her is that she witnessed what the book describes as a tachyon dragon dying, and something about the event gave her cool dragon magic. And it kind of like opened this connection between her and like the rest of the transcendent life living in the region. And so she's kind of been working with these care experts to kind of, make sure that they're being protected. She's very invested in protecting the non-human life of the pelagic.
All right. Thank you.
I think Lucky ended up in this line of work just not knowing what else to do. They crashed here in a little flying saucer and lost their memory in the process, and have just kind of found their way into the society here and trying their best to help out and make enough for them to survive while they tried to learn more about themselves. But I think they have like a very strong empathy to the planet. And despite being an alien, see a lot of similarities in the people here, and suspects that maybe they might have some sort of shared ancestry. And just having this empathy with the world, I think, helps them communicate more with these misunderstood creatures.
Okay, thank you. I heard you're using they for Lucky there. I have it down as he. Does that need to be updated, or is it a combo?
So you cut up for me for a second. What's up?
When I saw the character sheet for Lucky, I saw the pronouns there as he, him, but I heard you using they to refer to Lucky. Just wondering.
That I think it's just a habit of mine. Yeah, he him is his main pronoun set.
All right, just want to make sure. Thank you. Ada Grayscale or Penelope Heresy?
Sure, I can go. I think Ada is a resident of the Starfire Pelagic, like a native person, and has lived there all of her life, and found herself in this line of work because she's got a boat and maybe has a little bit of a chip on her shoulder and is happy to be making a buck doing something good at the same time.
Hey, that makes perfect sense. When you've got a boat, every problem looks like it should float.
That is what they say.
Yeah, we've all heard that classic
Riolta saying, right?
Got a problem? Ship it across the sea.
How about Penelope?
I think Penelope Heresy is a very, very old body. And she just climbed out of a hole in the ground one day and figured she might as well get working. Got into some sort of slightly dodgy area, sort of grey market, like Radiant Technology, that also got dug up at about the same time. But then, some people were nice to her, and she sort of ended up here and likes to be helping out. A bit less dangerous.
Okay,
Apart from when
thank you
it
very
isn't.
much. Sorry, I interrupted you there.
Bit less dangerous apart from where it isn't.
Okay, well, thank you very much for giving me all that information that I can use to perhaps weave into the story in one way or another. So, what's happening right now for all of you is you are on Ada's boat. Would you like to tell us a little bit about your boat, Ada?
Sure. I've been imagining it as sort of a giant turtle-esque creature with a concave shell. So
Okay.
it dips in the middle, which would be where all of us are hanging out. I haven't really fleshed it out as far as like how it looks beyond that. I'd imagine it has some, some decorations of some sort on it. If anybody has any fun ideas for that, I'm more than game to open that up too.
Does the boat have a name?
Oh gosh, I didn't even think about that. The boat definitely should have a name because it's a living being. Give me a minute. I'll get back to me on that one. I'll come up with something.
Sure thing. What does somewhere else together do on the boat? What is her role when they're sailing?
Hmm. I think maybe, there's a lot of kaiju out in the waters.
Oh, definitely.
I think that she has a lot of knowledge about them and can probably like identify like, oh, those are relatively docile. As long as we kind of keep our distance, it should be fine. And then other ones are like, ooh, that one's really dangerous. We'll probably need to be extra careful around it and maybe readjust our course in a major way.
Okay. That sounds
Maybe
like
she has to fight them, but she would rather not do that.
I bet she's probably got some methods that she uses to maybe ward them away or knows what their migratory patterns are so that they can avoid them, right?
Oh, definitely.
Like the resident, what would the term be for that? Kaiju guide? I don't know.
Monster expert,
Hmm. How about Lucky?
I'm not sure actually. I'm trying to figure out which one of my skills would be useful on a boat. Let's see.
That might be a hobby that's useful on the boat too.
Yeah, I think I'm just kind of like a jack of all trades on the boat because like I have shape, I'm good at fixing things. I have skirmish, I'm good at like fighting off threats. I have a lot of connect, so I'm good at talking with people. I don't think I have a specific role. I think I just take on whatever needs to be done that is not being done at the moment by somebody else.
Okay.
I think that's kind of how Lucky rolls, anyways. He's just trying to like wing it.
All right. So it does whatever's needed, pitches in wherever the case may be. How about Penelope?
I think Penelope just sort of a general technologist, sort of does sort of mechanical boat repairs when they're needed, but generally prefer stuff that's a little more high tech. So always sort of jumps on that whenever it shows up. That's
Okay. Sorry, go ahead.
probably just general like maintenance, like fixing stuff and all that.
Okay, cool. Well, Ada is still thinking of the name for the boat, and of course, if anyone else has suggestions, I'm sure Ben would appreciate the assistance.
I was thinking Brejik. Sounds like a good name for a big turtle.
That's good.
How do you spell that?
Brejik.
Brejik. Got it.
Also, I had this image as you were talking, Penelope, of her like taking pieces of herself off of off to fix the boat, and then also sometimes taking pieces of the boat off to fix herself.
Absolutely.
Yeah, to each according to their needs, as they say. Okay, so do you want to talk a little bit about your playbooks? As I'm coming up with the opening scene here. We can go clockwise like last time, or we can go the reverse. Tell us what your, let's see, what are the relevant details here? So in the first column, you've got your basic character information. We've talked a little bit about this. Your anchor could be useful. We don't have a community relationship set up just yet, but maybe your abilities and action ratings.
I'll go.
All right.
So I'm playing the witch. The book describes the witch as a powerful charmant. We started with our melody abilities, which is like a one-time use thing. But the other special ability that I took is weaving wreaths, which will give me potency when trying to convince people to act selflessly or in the best interests of others, and also gets one more stress box, which I figured would be very useful during a one-shot.
Mm-hmm. It does. Always good to have extra stress, I think.
I went pretty balanced with my character stats.
Yeah, I can see that.
1 in Decipher, Shape, Sunder, Finesse, Wayfare, and Connect, and then 2 in Tune. As for anchors, I've got communal bonds because, like Ada, somewhere also grew up in the Starfire Pelagic. And then her background is a Lunamoth Initiate, which is kind of like an exclusive order in the Pelagic. They're kind of respected. And that's what she was doing before she got the dragon magic and just kind of started doing her own thing.
All right.
Lucky is the beacon, which is described as a compelling and well-spoken negotiator. I'm kind of good at talking. I also have a animal companion. I didn't mention that earlier. My animal companion is an air plant. Those like plants that don't need to be put in water. They just like absorb water from the air. And it is wrapped around his horns. And it allows me to do a magical teleport kind of thing. See. I have 1 in Shape, 1 in Shadow, 1 in Skirmish, 1 in Wayfare, 1 in Bluff, and 2 in Connect. I don't think he knows this, but I think he was some sort of soldier/scout for whoever his people were, but he doesn't remember that. He just has some of those latent skills. And my anchor is to understand myself and my connection to this world.
Excellent.
Ada is the Aegis, a resolute warrior and protector. Her skills are 1 in Decipher, 1 in Finesse, 2 in Skirmish, 1 in Wayfare, 2 in Command, and 1 in Connect. I took, as far as extra abilities go, I took the Reverie School, great reference there, which gives her potency in unarmed combat and some other unarmed combat-related things. I'm imagining that she is very good at wrestling, even though I actually don't know that much about wrestling, so I won't be using the right names for anything or anything like that. But as far as her background, she's a cargo ship captain, as we kind of mentioned, from the Starfire Pelagic. And her anchors are get the job done and give everything for my crew.
Thank you.
And then Penelope is the scrapper, who is a savvy technician and mechanic. Background, like I mentioned, she was a merchant in sort of grey market work. And then also the hole that she climbed out of, the first thing you can remember was here in Starfire Pelagic. So she says she's here. My anchor is people have never been kinder to me than they have here. My abilities have the starting ability, the scrapper ability, which is I'm good at repairing, modifying, upgrading, and sabotaging things. I have my melody ability, which is more good technological stuff, and then my extra ability is neurocoupling, which is you can use your mind to interface with electronics and enter digital spaces, which is fun, and I have some potency there.
Yeah, that is fun.
And then, in terms of stats, I have 1 in Decipher, 2 in Shape, 1 in Sunder, 1 in Finesse, 2 in Bluff, because former merchant, and 1 in Connect.
Thank you very much for your outlines, everyone. And the crew that we are working as is the Courier's crew playbook. So the Couriers are hardy transporters. They move things around, which is something that these characters need to do when they're working on their kaiju preservation efforts. There's a special ability for this crew that we took called Go for Miles, and that allows each player character to add +1 action rating to Shape, Finesse, or Wayfare, which I think everybody has done already. So we are set to go. All right. We
Actually,
are.
Oh, I haven't.
Lucky did, yeah.
What were those again?
Okay. Sorry, just a moment. I'll pull it back up.
Shape,
got it.
Finesse, or Wayfare.
Yeah, Shape, Finesse, or Wayfare.
Yeah, I was counting my points. They didn't line up.
It should be 8 in total, I believe.
Yeah, 7. Okay. Shape, Finesse, or Wayfare, right?
Yes.
Go Wayfare.
Are we ready to go?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes.
I guess I only barely introduced myself. So before we start, yeah, I'm Arp again. My pronouns are here, they. I'm on Twitter at YCaliber. I am the showrunner for the podcast Stories of a Broken Sun. We're starting up our 3rd season soon, and that is also using Songs for the Dusk in not in the base setting, in a setting of our own.
Ooh.
And you can follow that show at Broken Sun RPG, or go to brokensunrpg.com for the website of our show.
Both that podcast and my upcoming one both used the same game to build the world, and is going to be using the same game for the campaign. So we're going to be like sister podcasts.
Yeah, we're very excited to hear where yours has gone too. Everyone really wants to listen to it.
That's awesome.
I'm sorry, did you say Street Magic is that community building game in question by Caro Assertion? All right. It is afternoon in Tamaris. You are out on the ocean in the waves between Acanthia in the south here and the island of Mitsua. So Mitsua is the southernmost island, and that is where you have been dispatched from today, because there is another invasion happening. The Acanthian Navy has gotten all their boats together, banged on those war drums, and they've rolled up to Mitsuan territory, or Starfile Pelagic territory. They've crossed the borders, and then, they're shooting rockets, they're hooting and hollering, they're making a big fuss. And naturally, the Starfire Pelagic's Navy has come out to respond. Now, the Starfire Pelagic's military power is less in the, boats and guns and ships and cars and such method, and more in the fact that there are 14 dragons who live on these islands, and those 14 dragons have sworn to protect them. So anytime Acanthia comes out to start trouble, they get attacked by dragons. And that is the case that we're seeing here as well. So the waves are a little bit chaotic here. You can see the Acanthian ships. They're all different sizes. You've got corvettes, gunships, smaller boats going in between them, carrying ammunition hither and thither. And crashing waves are tossing the smaller boats about. The larger boats are slicing through them with the determination that you only see with Imperial self-certainty. Up in the sky, there are 3 dragons who are circling the area. Occasionally, they loose a blast of various elements, and you hear the roaring sounds of their passage overhead. The Starfire Pelagic's boats tend to be a little bit smaller than those of the Acanthian army. They're more made of wood and other organic materials. The Acanthian ones tend to be made of metals and minerals, with astatine prows to revel in the fact that their queen has enough transcendent power to hold together an entire throne of this stuff that can barely be kept, even a small amount of astatine will dissipate unless it's being held together by powerful transcendent forces. So the only people who can sit on the astatine throne are those with a powerful enough transcendent ability to hold it together. And so on the prow of each boat, there's also a what's the word I'm looking for? A figurehead of the queen with an astatine crown upon her head. And these are the things slicing through. As the cannons fire, you can see chain shot and hook shot firing up towards the dragons, attempting to snare them, grab their wings, tangle them up, pull them down into the water where they're easier prey for the guns. But that's not why you're here. You have arrived aboard Brejik because in this area there has been a glow down on the seabed that has been observed by some local fishermen. And, people came out, you did some scans, and as you were waiting for the results of the scans, that's when this armada from the Acanthian monarchy rode up. So you're in the middle of a battle, but you are hopefully not going to be part of it. Your goal is to find this glowing thing down on the seabed, which, according to your scans, is some type of extremely large cocoon. How are your characters feeling as the guns and cannons and chains and screams and elemental blasts and magic of the clashing navies here fly about quite unfortunately nearby to you? What's the mood aboard Brejik?
I think Ada's in full-on captain mode at this point, shouting commands and, batten down the hatches and, running hither and thither, trying to keep everything in working order as they ride the choppy waves.
I think Somewhere Else is kind of all over the place. I think she's trying to keep up with Ada's orders, but is also wondering what's really at the bottom of the ocean, giving off this glow. If it's really a cocoon, what is in it? I think she's also worried about the 3 dragons that are currently fighting the Acathian navy. And I think we get she's running around the ship doing tasks, and I think whenever she has a beat, she just does a small prayer for each of the dragons before getting back to work.
I think Lucky is trying to steel himself. I think all of these sounds of combat and screaming dragons are bringing up flashes of memories. He can't make out the full memories, but he's seeing some sort of flashbacks of war or combat that he's been in, and it's freaking him out a little bit. So he's just sitting there trying to get his breath and meditate a little bit.
Someone else going to say something?
Nope, I just took a breath.
I was actually going to say that I think Somewhere probably checks in on Lucky a couple of times and is like, hey, are you still good? Can I get you some water or anything? Just remember to breathe,
I think he goes into a little bit of a trance, a meditative trance. So I think he can hear you, but I don't think he responds.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So I think Penelope is she's got all the sort of scanners. She's on all that. She's trying to operate it, trying to work out where it is, attempting to triangulate and such.
Okay. So your results come back on your computer. What do the computers look like here on Brejik? Are there computer displays, or is it holographs, or sand that forms into the shifting images, smokes?
Panels of shell that act as screens.
Ooh, that's cool.
All right, I like that. So beneath the pearlescent sheen of the shell's protective covering, you get this notification, this beep, 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 beep. Your instruments have completed their scan, and they're giving you the dimensions of this cocoon that is on the seabed. And it is perhaps even larger than it at first seemed. It seems to be a little bit buried in the seabed. And obviously, this is not a safe place for a cocoon to be, especially if it's one that is glowing, which it's not clear what species this cocoon is what's the word I'm looking for, an antecedent of? What species this cocoon is for. But in general, when giant cocoons start to glow, that means they are getting close to hatching. And the depth charges being set off by the Acanthian Navy as they attempt to drive off one of the dragons who has taken to the seas, an aquatic dragon who seems to be amphibious, are worryingly close here. I'm going to start a clock, actually, while we're thinking about what to do here. And the clock I'm going to start is a countdown clock. So I'm going to pull over this 4-tick clock here. And this is the clock of the Acanthian Navy noticing you.
Oh no.
That clock is lost.
Yes, these visual are by Chris Geldart, which is at Chris_Geldart on Twitter.
Love it.
Neat.
I would say I start by like plugging a finger into some sort of like mechanical socket, and just like my voice is just over like the ship speakers or that nearer coupling. And just be like, "Hello, friends. Hi, team. Just to let you know that Cocoon is about to hatch, and also we should not get blown up by all these depth charges, which also might blow up the Cocoon. And it is time. Yes, ideas are useful. We should go. Yes."
You said the water was very choppy, right?
Yes, it is choppy. It's not a storm, but all the explosives and battling boats and dragons diving around nearby are certainly not lending it the calmness that one would enjoy when going for a swim.
I think I'm gonna lean into this. I have an ability called Charm Tongue, which says that I can talk to reality itself, spend 2 stress to speak to the world around you, reshaping it according to your desires. +1 stress for each extra feature. The effect is stable. The effect doesn't radiate transcendent energies, and you aren't changed in turn. I think I'm just going to spend the 2 stress. I don't think I have to roll. It doesn't necessarily say here.
You spend the stress, and that effect occurs.
So I think what we see is Lucky like stands up, still in somewhat of a trance, and he seems to be like mumbling under his breath as he like walks to like the front of this like turtle boat, kind of like dangerously close to the edge. I think anybody watching him might be sort of concerned that he's about to fall in. Almost looks like he's sleepwalking, but he is sort of communicating with the ocean itself. And I think what he's asking it to do is to increase the size of the waves like nearby in order to create sort of a camouflage effect, like where we are hidden behind the waves relative to the Acanthian Navy's perspective.
Okay. I will note, because this is a move that says you spend extra stress for each additional feature.
Mhm.
If you don't spend the extra stress, that basically means each of the options here will take place.
That's fine.
So it means the effect won't be stable. It will radiate transcendent energies, and you will be changed in turn.
All of that sounds interesting to me. So
All right. Just want to make sure that we're clear on how this move works before I unleash it upon you.
unleash away.
All right. So your goal is to make the waves larger, sort of in like the area around here.
Yeah, I'm imagining that like sort of cliche, like a perfect storm kind of like image where like the waves are so big that like you can go over the side of one and then disappear behind it.
Okay. And this is to keep you hidden from the Navy ships?
Mhm.
Okay. So the ocean responds to you in the way that you are used to having forces of nature respond when you attempt to reshape them. It's a stubborn thing, the ocean. It is very large and vast and not particularly pleased to take suggestions from people who are not themselves oceans or forces of nature. You know, the ocean responds to the moon, the ocean responds to the wind, and such things. But
Well, you know, it's
people,
like a hey, give us a display of your power. I wanted to show off.
yeah, you're absolutely you know the way to do this, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know how to do it. You know how to appeal to, I guess, not the ocean's ego, but the ocean's desire to be more ocean-like, right? In this
Yeah.
particular way.
Yeah.
It's like So the ocean is drawn in by this idea of like, well, there are a bunch of intruders who are basically disturbing my peace right now, disturbing my existence right now. So I don't mind putting on this display that you suggest. That seems like a good idea. The ocean appears to be saying by increasing the sizes of the waves that it is creating. So this is not a stable effect because the ocean is ever changeable. So at any moment, the ocean may change its mind. But the effect when you are speaking to the ocean, there is a glow that comes about you as transcendent energies stretch between you and the ocean itself, and that radiation of transcendent energies could alert any creatures or people nearby who are attracted to such things.
I
So I'm
think the
going
tell.
to go for it.
Oh, I think the tell that we see on Lucky's form is that there seems to be a glowing circuitry in his horns.
Nice. I love that. So I'm going to start a secondary clock here and tick it once. And this clock here is going to be related to no, come on, text, get edited.
By the way, are we skipping engagement and stuff like that per the rules of the book for the one shot sake?
We're going to get to the engagement very shortly.
Okay, cool.
Just to give ourselves a position going into the actual mission part here.
Cool.
But I wanted to give you folks some time to set up the situation before we go into that part.
Mm-hmm.
Is this the kind of thing that we've seen Lucky do in the past? And just actually generally, I'd like to know how well how much have we worked together? We're an established crew at this point, right?
Yeah, I like to think that Somewhere and Lucky probably know each other very well. I think somebody as cool and interesting as Lucky probably wouldn't have gone unnoticed by Somewhere for very long, because she tends to get around the Pelagic quite frequently.
Yeah, I think Lucky's pretty well known, being somebody who fell from the sky. That's probably an interesting feature.
So what is the reaction from the rest of the crew as this is happening?
I think this is weird but normal.
Yeah, this is maybe even the kind of thing that you've potentially used this to aid or hinder ocean going, stuff in the past on jobs, I'm guessing.
And I think Somewhere and Lucky probably have spent time together kind of discussing their own magical abilities, because they're distinctly different. Somewhere is able to conjure magic themselves, whereas Lucky has to convince the world to do things.
I think Somewhere finds it very impressive that Lucky was able to convince the ocean to do anything.
Penelope doesn't say anything, but just sticks a big thumb up.
I think Lucky almost falls in though when the waves get big.
I think Ada grabs him before he tumbles off.
I think that shakes him out of his trance too. He's like, "Oh, whoa, what's going on?"
So I have started the clock here, transcendent feeders. And when you emit transcendent energy or radiate transcendent energy in the way that you have just done, in this area, that can draw spirits who are spirits, not necessarily like full spirits, but spirits who feed on or are attracted to transcendent energy in various ways. And some of these spirits may take the form of like a scavenger creature or a type of fish that might be like a leech or a remora type thing that will attempt to attach itself to something that is radiating transcendent energy to feed off of it for itself.
It's fine. We'll just make friends with them.
It's entirely possible to do so. So this clock being a consequence of your move, it is something that you can resist if you wish.
Nope.
Okay. And you are changed in turn by the ocean. I think what would be interesting here is as you ask the ocean to become more tumultuous, you find yourself becoming tumultuous in turn. Your emotions are hitting higher highs and lower lows. You're experiencing mood swings as the tides of your emotions take on the character of the waves that you have asked the ocean to conjure.
Uh-oh, I was already having feelings, so...
Nice.
And that's just a flavor thing. That's not a mechanical effect, of course. Okay, so what do you want to do as a crew? What do you want to do with this cocoon?
Yeah, how are we going to get this cocoon out of here?
I guess I can phrase it as, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I guess I can phrase it as, what type of mission do you want to do to this cocoon?
I think transport probably makes the most sense. Since we're trying to get this back to the refuge, right?
I agree.
I'm not too worried about being sneaky because we have like the dragons on our side. I think it might be more effective to just like blast in, get out.
Yeah. Speed run.
Okay. So if you would like at this point, we can do some flashbacks, and I'm not going to charge stress for these flashbacks. Flashbacks to preparations your characters made before coming on this mission. Like, if you want to, in the same way that you would gather information before a mission normally, if there's any type of information you want to have already gathered in the past to prepare for this mission, we can do some flashback scenes to that.
And we knew we were coming for this cocoon. We just weren't expecting it to be right about to hatch. Is that right?
You knew you were coming for something that was glowing on the seabed.
Ah, gotcha. Okay.
It wouldn't be unreasonable to have brought, some kind of like salvage tools that can like get stuff off of the ocean floor.
Yeah, you could acquire an asset for that.
I also thought about using magic to kind of like suction the cocoon from the seafloor.
So gathering information tends to be getting in touch with contacts, finding out information about the area or the or what's going on around that mission, that type of thing. Or making sure you have the right materials and so on.
I might sort of was it a complete surprise about this accounting thing, or is it a thing that like it was sort of might have thought of ahead of time? Because I was thinking I could have basically just like checked up all the info on like whatever ships and weapons might be about, just so I can counter prepare and such.
Yeah, if you want to do, you could have done some research into the Acanthian Navy or something along those lines.
Yeah, that sort of vibe.
All right. How do you think you would go about doing this? Because that will depend on the action that we roll for this, gather information.
I think it'll be through like sort of older merchant connections, and like people who still get in touch with just about like who like look into technology, who sort of look into the military technology, who sort of might have acquired some, Acanthian weapons that fell off the back of a truck.
Okay. So do you think you're going to appeal to their emotional needs, lie convincingly, and persuade these people with charm and guile? Or are you more likely to make an emotional connection, persuade them from a position of genuine belief, express vulnerability, or offer comfort and support?
Only the former.
Okay.
That sort of black market. Everyone's trying to be cool and like put on the front. And I'm just like, hey, it's me. I need some information on a navy.
Okay. That sounds like it's a bluff roll in that case.
Okay. I have those points. which is useful.
We'll just do controlled standard at this point because it's a gather information roll.
Cool. I think I'll just do it. Flat. I don't push yet.
Okay.
Controlled. Standard. No bonus dice. Five.
5. Okay. So that means you get good information. Let's see. You are speaking to. Let's pull up a name here. Okay, I think you end up speaking to a retired member of the Navy around these parts, and that person is. Just pull a name off your sheet here. Tyr. So you are speaking to a retired sailor named Tyr, who still hangs out on the docks around Mitsua and is veteran of many battles against the Acanthian military and navy. And Tyr is a he/him, and he is regaling you with stories over drinks about the types of things that the Acanthian navy is capable of. He's telling you about how there's, the what's the word I'm looking for again? I keep forgetting. The figurehead's crowns, those ones that are made of astatine, they allow for near perfect real-time communication between the ships, even if the royal network or the internet are being interfered with in the area. It's like they allow instant coordination between the ships and, some say, even the astatine throne herself in real time. So that's something that people always have to keep in mind, that the Acanthian Navy has this near perfect tactical picture of what's happening at all times, so long as those crowns are up and running. The other thing that you learn about the Acanthian Navy ships is that their cannons they tend to be focused more on anti-air than on anti-other ship, as it were, because their primary concern is usually driving away the dragons, and the other boats they will deal with generally they do boarding or ramming.
Fun. Boarding, ramming. Okay, that sounds good. I can
Yeah.
deal with that. I can get in there. I can make that happen.
Yeah.
Thank
He's
you so
got
much.
he's got like a crown of bushy white hair around a bald pate, and he has a third eye, but the third eye has an eye patch over it, and the eye patch over the third eye also has the design of an eye on it, just for fun.
I had something I wanted to look into before we got this mission underway.
Okay.
I was thinking that somewhere was probably leading up to this mission studying like the ocean currents and the tides to like get a good route, because a glowing thing in under the sea that could attract any number of sick profiteers, and who might go to great lengths to try and get this. So having a number of escape routes to like try and lose them effectively, and avoiding any natural habitats that might be threatened by conflict, as a side bonus of trying to skirt out of the ways of those too.
Okay. And you said you were studying maps and charts here?
Yep.
That sounds like it's probably going to be Decipher. What do you think?
That sounds
Decipher
right.
tells us decipher a code or encryption, a person's true intent, etc. Do research, conduct experiments, analyze data, and figure things out. So if you want, you can just roll that. Controlled standard effects.
Roll20 does have a fortune roll option.
Yeah, you can use that as well. I keep forgetting that one's in here. The Roll20 what's the word I'm looking for? Framework in here for Songs for the Dusk is for the previous version of Songs for the Dusk. So we're primarily using it for the rolling convenience.
Oof, I got a 1.
You got a 1, which means that the information you get is not particularly good or reliable on your gather information here. So you are reading over the charts, and the trouble is, it's not that you can't find the information about good routes and such. It's just that there aren't any right now at this particular time. There is something about this season and this part of this season that means that these waters are particularly temperamental, and there's like a convergence almost of large aquatic creatures that move through this area, not necessarily at the same time, but like one after another in these Byzantine patterns across the ocean. So it's difficult to find a route that's not going to run into one or another of these creatures as you try and move around this area.
So it goes.
I got something.
Yeah?
I think Ada, in her at some point in her life, maybe in how she got this job, is that she became involved in an environmentalist movement and has a friend who potentially, gives her and the crew work like this from time to time. And I was thinking maybe I could hang out with her and try and get a little bit of extra information about what she thinks might be going on with this glowing thing at the bottom of the ocean, just generally.
Okay. Sorry, who was the person you were speaking to?
I'm imagining maybe this might be our contact who gave us the job or something. It doesn't have to be that story specific. I guess it could be just like a conservationist friend.
Okay. Yeah, so the representative of the Kauai Council for Mirjan is Melanie Choi. So yeah, we'll say it's Melanie Choi you're speaking to.
Cool.
So she's the representative of the Kauai Council, the elected representative for Mirjan and the Kauai Council. And most likely she also oversees the operations of the Kaiju Refuge on that island.
Nice.
Okay, and how did you want to go about this?
I'm guessing this seems like Connect to me. It's just sort of a extra bit of conversation to see if there's anything last minute that maybe she heard about that might help us know a little bit more about what we're getting ourselves into danger-wise with this glowing thing.
Okay. Sorry, I had my brain turned off for a moment. Are you doing a Connect roll?
I think so, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll go ahead and do that. Woof. Get these ones out early, folks.
Ooh.
Okay. This is fine. This is how the game goes sometimes. So speaking to Melanie, I think she is very supportive of your efforts. The issue is that she just doesn't know. Nobody seems to know what this thing is. It's not any known size or shape based on the initial observations that they're aware of. It's not. It doesn't match the cycle. Like there are certain ones of these great creatures in kaiju that's like a cicada type thing. It's like they will go into hibernation for 10, 20 years and then emerge on a schedule. And people know these schedules, but there's nothing scheduled for now. So it's just a complete mystery to everybody.
Curious.
Mm-hmm. I hope nobody's belief is destroy something instead of understand it.
All right. So with the information that we've gotten here, I think we can look at our engagement roll and then snap back into the present tense where you all are having calmed the ocean, or rather not calmed, inflamed the ocean.
Did everyone catch
Got it hyped up.
Did everyone?
You hyped up. Hyped up is good. You've hyped up the ocean.
You're the ocean hype man.
You've never seen waves like this. Okay, and so the options for plans, there are 6 options for plans: battle, deception, stealth, social, technical, or transport. And I think we were leaning towards transport here.
Yep.
Yeah,
I think it makes the most sense. Just get in, get out.
we could make a case for joining the battle and trying to push back the Navy, but I don't think any of us are really equipped to do that.
I mean, what are we gonna do that a dragon can't?
I can do a lot of things that a dragon can, actually.
Yeah, true.
All right.
Okay,
Yeah, I'm
transport.
fine with transport.
All right, so the detail that you need to furnish to me for a transport plan is the route and the means.
Well, we
Your
got
route
this turtle.
is, yeah, you need to get up to Mirjan somehow. The means is how you're going to transport this large cocoon using Brejik.
Mhm.
Well, we're getting a little bit of help from the ocean.
Yeah, and
I
maybe
have
we can. Oh, go ahead.
okay, so idea.
Mhm.
One of my special grappa items is my tool belt, which includes the thing called fuse resin. Permanently fuses 2 surfaces until parted with a neutralizing agent or extreme damaging force. I
Here's-
think
Go ahead.
attach this to some sort of like chain, rope, something strong. Get it down there. Sort of fuse it up to this cocoon so we're not piercing it or anything with a grappling hook. And just hightail it on out of here.
I like the idea. What if we adhered the cocoon itself to Brejik?
You're a genius. And I love you.
Can Brejik dive?
Probably not with us on it. I don't think that it's
I
like
was
a
g-
submarine.
My
think-
follow-up question would be, what happens to you when Brejik
I
dives?
mean, I bet Reggie can dive, but it's probably not so great for us.
Mhm.
In terms of our abilities, I might be the best diver with my Wayfarer.
I mean, we could flashback having like scuba gear.
Yeah.
Oh,
Also, and I think we could combine the 2 ideas kind of on the table, right? We could have like a winch that had, some kind of a connecting device on a chain that has the resin on it. Somebody dives down there, connects it to the cocoon, brings it back up, and then that's what's connected to Reggie.
also with my animal companion ability, I can instantly teleport to it. So if I leave it on the ship, I can dive down and then like teleport back up instantaneously.
Oh, that's very good.
Huh.
Ooh.
That is
That
very
is-
useful.
That is an extremely cool use of that ability.
Totally.
That's just a really cool interpretation of it. That's awesome. Would not have thought of that, but it's a perfect use of that exact ability. It's really cool.
I think we, between all of our different skill sets and items and stuff, I think we have enough ability to pull this off.
Mm-hmm. We
Yep.
just need a route now.
Now, the question for the route, I guess you have a couple primary route options. So if you look at the map, I'm going to do some pings here.
Uh-huh.
So you're currently here in between Acanthia and Mitsuha.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You could make a straight run up the channel here, perhaps between Koyaya and Rialta, to get up to Mirjan. You could go down south and around Mitsuha, around the back side of the archipelago to Mirjan, and that might keep you a little bit safer, but it will take longer.
Hmm.
I think we're probably going to be putting a target on ourselves when we grab the payload, for lack of a better word. So probably the quickest route is best. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I vote for speed over safety.
Especially if this thing's about to hatch.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right, we've got our route, we've got our means. When rolling engagement, you start with 1 die just for sheer luck. And then you get plus 1 die for each major advantage and minus 1 die for each major disadvantage. So let me just pull up the list here to make sure that we are. Okay, engagement roll. Major advantages. Is this a particularly bold or daring plan to snatch the cocoon and run?
I think with how little we've cared for safety, yes.
Okay, so we'll put that up to 2. Is it overly complex or rely on many factors? I don't think so. If the
Not
plan
really
is
complex.
if the plan is particularly effective at accomplishing the goal or exploits a weakness in the target, I don't think it exploits a weakness in the Acanthian Navy. And like there are probably more effective ways to do this, but what you're doing is fast, so I'm not gonna add that one. Particularly ineffective, not particularly ineffective. That one's a wash. Plus 1 if a friend, contact, or community member can help with the mission. So you got some assistance when you were in touch with Tyr, so that's a community member, and you weren't able to get a lot of help from Melanie, but you did contact her, so we can put that
Also,
up.
Maybe she can set up like like a safe zone once we reach. What is the name of that island? We go to the other side of the. Mirja.
Yeah. Okay, so we're at 3. Is a rival or enemy interfering with the mission? Well, there is an enemy interfering with the mission, which we will find out about. Well, we'll probably find out about. So that'll bring us back down to 2.
Gas.
Plus 1 for miscellaneous elements, differences in tier, faction, politics, etc. I'm
The
not
ocean.
going to focus too much on tier right now in this one shot. So, no. Same here with the complicated and plus 1d from foundation as abilities that provide a bonus to this engagement roll. I don't think we have any of those.
Does
So-
does my plea with the ocean count as miscellaneous support? I did take stress for it.
You did take stress for it. Let's see. So that was to help you
There wasn't
stay
any
hidden.
necessarily mechanical benefit.
Yeah, I think, yeah, why not? So we'll do 3 dice there. And who would like to roll the engagement?
I'll do it. 3d6.
That's the one.
Got a 6.
Nice.
You got a 6. That's
Nice.
wonderful news. Okay, when you roll a 6, it yields a controlled position. That's very good for you. Okay, just going to take a minute here. We have a position tracker. I'm going to pull it down here. Go. Currently controlled. And I'm going to put down next to you your Harmony tracker. Harmony is a resource in Songs for the Dusk that represents moments of perfect understanding between you and your teammates. When you use Harmony, you can get mechanical advantages. So I'll just pull up the Harmony description here. It represents your crew's understanding of both each other and their place in the world. To experience Harmony is to see with perfect clarity where you are relative to your allies and your goals. This is meant in both the literal and metaphorical sense. Spending Harmony to clamber up a mountain might mean understanding exactly the route you need to get to the top quickly and haul your friends up after you. But spending it to convince somebody might mean seeing exactly what their insecurities are and knowing how to address them. To use Harmony is to have, for a split second, perfect insight into how the world fits together and what your place in it is. Any player rather, can spend Harmony during an action roll to add plus 1 die to the roll. You can only spend Harmony once per roll. You start off with 2 at the end of each downtime. So at the start of a mission, you've got 2 as a basic one. In addition, every time you roll a 6 or critical result on a desperate action or on any teamwork maneuver, you generate Harmony. And this happens even if you spent Harmony on that roll. So sometimes you can spend Harmony on a teamwork action or a desperate action and then get it back immediately. So don't be shy about using Harmony. And of course, using teamwork maneuvers to try and get more of that sweet, sweet bonus die. All right, so we're starting in a controlled position. You are aboard the board Brejic, and the waves are obligingly crashing all around you. As who is who is making the dive? Is it just one person? Who's going to go underwater to the cocoon?
I'm happy to do it because I have a high wayfare skill, and that's kind of the like move through a terrain skill. But if anybody else wants to help out, I wouldn't
I'll help.
turn you away.
I'll dive in too, and also set up the chains and whatnot.
Okay. So as the three of you are working on setting up this winch and what's the word I want here? Winch and I guess anchor situation on the pod, we will look at. I think we should probably do at this point a roll, maybe a teamwork maneuver, or if someone wants to set up the person who's diving down. Lots of options for how you can do this.
I can see it as being a teamwork maneuver. I can also see it as Lucky rolling and then me assisting by taking a stress.
Okay.
Yeah, it does seem like there's like different little ways that each of us can do it that are different, rather than us all rolling the same thing in like a group
Yeah.
action.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to start a clock for the cocoon attachment. And let's see here. We're just going to stick with 4s for now, because this is just getting the cocoon attached to your ship.
I think if there's like an item that would work well for like a diving.
Oh, we got to declare load.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You do need to declare load, and it's my fault for not mentioning that.
I always forget to.
I've already marked an item, so
I'm taking load normal, which is 5.
Okay. All right.
I'm going to take heavy.
Heavy. Okay. Good. So we are starting in a controlled position. Tell me about the actions you want to take to get this attached. I mean, you've already told me. So what actions do you want to roll for that?
I was thinking I could do a control shape setup to sort of get the resin and the chain situational going.
Okay, that makes sense to me. So controlled, you have you've declared that the belt item, right? And one of those is the bonding agent. Let me just pull this up and make sure that I'm getting everything correct and not misrepresenting the game mechanics, which is a concern I always have. Where are we here? Okay. There's a bunch of different steps for the action roll here. All right, you've declared that, so I think this would be standard effect, and you are rolling at controlled. Because you have declared this material, we'll move that up to a great effect for your setup action here.
Controlled, great. Not bad for a first roll.
Love that. I'm going to roll shape. It's like making stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Controlled. Great. I want this to start well. I'm going to push myself.
Okay.
Got that stress. Might as well use it.
I've already made a mistake. In Songs for the Dusk, it's controlled high. It's not great, it's high impact.
Oh,
Apologies there.
roll. What? Oh. Okay.
Not bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we've got a 5 here. That's good. On a controlled roll, when you roll a 5, there's a couple of things that you can do. So under controlled consequences, you can withdraw and try again with a different action rating from a worse position. Or sorry, you can withdraw and try again using a different action in order to try and get this to a 6. The action fails, you can try again from a worse position. You can reduce the impact level from high to standard. You could get moved from controlled to a risky position. Something might go wrong there. and the other options don't really make sense here.
I think
So
it would make
you can
sense.
accept it and take a consequence, or withdraw and try again.
I'll accept and take a consequence.
All
That
right.
works with everyone else.
Yeah. Do you have one in mind? Because I have one that makes sense.
Tell me yours.
It makes sense that we move from controlled to risky since two of us are about to dive into the ocean.
Okay.
Oh, actually, question.
Yes.
Would you say this is inventing or crafting mundane technology?
I think you're using it. I don't know if you're crafting it here.
I guess so.
I like the idea. I think you have a move for that, of course, but okay. So we could move to the risky position, seeing as we're about to jump into the choppy water. The other option for consequence here is, I was thinking maybe when you are applying this paste onto the cable that you're going to attach to the cocoon, there is a chemical reaction that's a little bit unexpected and sends up a bit of smoke into the sky, which would tick the Acanthian Navy notice clock once.
Hmm.
In either case, you can, of course, resist either one of those consequences using the resistance system.
So do you say is this a two things happen at once?
No, we're just offering you these options.
Oh,
We've got slip into a risky position or tick up that Acanthian Navy notice clock.
I'd
oh,
rather tick the clock, but
Yeah, tick a
up to
clock.
you.
yeah. Tick that clock.
All right. That means you keep your control position, but this little puff of smoke makes its way up into the sky as you apply the compound to the cable. And
Pissed.
I will
God damn
tick
it.
that up by one, unless you wish to
like
resist that
upright
consequence.
And that's what makes it so noticeable.
All right. Setup action, so that you have now set up this action. Yes, thank you for that clear explanation, ARP. Who would like to take advantage of this?
I think let's do that dive roll, huh?
Yeah, I mean, who's all involved with this? Because there's like the chain. The person diving has to carry the chain down or like drag the chain down, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Or would we have like some sort of anchor kind of system where we would attach it to the chain and let it sink to the bottom naturally while somebody else dives?
I think either way, I mean, I think someone's going to have to go down there and make sure that, chain gets attached to Cocoon, right?
Yeah.
I
I
could
am
see.
happy to do
Yeah, I mean, I could see Ada just spending a stress to assist by kind of keeping Brejik calm and stable while you perform this quote unquote risky maneuver.
I was going to jump in with Lucky and assist that way by taking a stress.
Cool. I mean, we can both do that, right?
I think only one of us can assist like that.
Gotcha. Right.
Yeah, you've got a setup action here. Only one person can assist on a roll.
Right. Either way, I'm happy to let somewhere go for it too.
I will do it because I have one extra stress box.
Nice.
All right.
I will fill that in on my sheet.
It's slash roll. I don't use roll20 very often. What's this setup?
What's the position in effect? It's risky.
You're still in a controlled position.
Oh, right.
We kept that option. It's controlled, and I think because you are diving down into the choppy waves, it's going to be low impact.
Can I use my assist roll to bring that from low to whatever the midpoint is?
The first thing to consider is that we have the setup action, so you can use that for +1 effect or improve position, and your position's already controlled.
Yeah, so let's knock that effect up.
So the setup that brings the effect up from low to standard.
So controlled standard. Lucky, would you like another dice, or would you like to make this controlled great?
I think we don't need it to be controlled great because I already have a special ability to like help me out of here. So I only need to swim down. I don't need to swim back up as well.
Mhm.
So I don't think I need that. I think it probably is better spent on another die.
All right. I will give you +1d with my stress.
Cool.
Okay. Just
And
to make sure that we're clear on what the impact will be here. The standard impact is 2 ticks of the clock if you succeed. The great impact is 3 ticks of the clock if you succeed.
Okay, this is a clock as well.
To get this secured, yeah.
That can look like more things besides just the dive, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
It's
so
not
if I'm
just
diving down, I'm not
attaching.
committing to completing this clock by myself.
Mhm.
No. As
Cool.
people, anyone can contribute to this clock in any way that makes sense narratively.
Cool. I'm going to keep it at standard effect then.
Okay.
Does that make sense to everybody?
Fine with me.
Yeah, because like sometimes if you get 3 in a clock, that's 4 steps. It kind of doesn't matter if you get 2 or 3 because it's going to take multiple rolls to complete anyways.
Yeah, I agree.
Mhm.
Okay, so that's 3d6. I'm not going to push myself. I'm going to save my stress in case I need to resist. Oh,
That's
a
a
crit.
crit.
Whoa!
You got a crit.
Nice.
Okay.
Wow. Fun.
So you're in a controlled position here. So unfortunately, this doesn't generate harmony, but it is a crit.
Uh-huh.
All right. So that means increased impact. So
Oh, it is a crit. It is a crit because it was a teamwork action. Or it does generate harmony because it was a teamwork action.
was this a teamwork maneuver, or are you doing a group
No.
action?
There was an assist, right?
I think it's for like group actions, right?
Yeah.
Setup actions are teamwork too, I think.
Let's see. So teamwork maneuvers include assist, lead a group action, protect a teammate, and set up a character. So
Okay, never mind.
let's see.
So it does not generate harmony.
I don't think it does in this case because you're following through on it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, that would be a good question that I could ask Kavi or Quinn to clarify for me.
Seems like you would be generating harmony constantly if every time you rolled a 6, even with an assist, you were getting harmony.
Well, it's not that it's
Yeah.
a 6; it's that it's a crit.
Oh, I see.
Well,
Uh,
sixes on teamwork and 6s on risky generate.
It's
sixes on
desperate in this game.
Yeah, desperate. Are on.
I see.
Okay. So you do end up filling this to 3.
Okay. I got a bonus little bump from the
bonus
crit.
impact. So what does this look like? What's the scene?
So I was trying to find an item on the sheet that made sense for like diving gear, and none of them did really. The closest one was like a jump kit, or maybe like a survival pack. Maybe there's something in a survival pack that would be like a breather or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it says wilderness survival tools. Yeah, maybe there's a breather in that. So I'll take a survival pack. I don't think he puts on like a big suit or anything like that. I think he has like a weird jumpsuit already that like regulates temperature, some sort of alien technology. But he puts on this breather and dives in and definitely swims to this glowing cocoon.
Somewhere takes off her outer robes, revealing a skin-tight bodysuit underneath, and just jumps in the water. She has dragon magic. She can breathe underwater, probably.
Sick.
And helps guide this chain down to the cocoon.
Okay. All right. So the cocoon, as you approach it, there's sort of, you can see it is generating a bit of a pulse. There's a current around it. There's a gyre of water. You can feel it as you approach, but you're able to swim through it especially with your crit roll there, and get this affixed to the cocoon. At this point, the thing we need to do for the cocoon is make sure that when you pull on it, it will move, because it is a little bit stuck in there. So this
like
is something
in,
that you
in
can,
in the ground, sort of like in the soil.
in the seabed. Yeah, it's like a rock half covered by the sand and such at the bottom of the sea here.
Okay.
I have an idea.
Yes.
I want to try and telepathically communicate with whatever creature is in this cocoon. Because the gyre around it leads me to believe that it's exerting some kind of influence over its nearby surroundings. Maybe it can do something to loosen itself.
Okay. So you want to try and communicate with this being.
Yes.
All right. That is probably going to be tune, right?
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. Tune yourself to the world. Feel the pulse of transcendent forces. Sense danger or hostility. Read the emotional tone of a scene. Commune with an animal or spirit. It's right in there. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So you're still in a controlled position here, fortunately. You hear in the distance there's a deep pulsing, like, and you feel the water. There's that sudden push against you as a depth charge goes off much closer than you'd like. But your position remains controlled for now.
Good to know. Good to know.
And communing with a creature that is completely unknown, I think, starts with low impact.
Makes sense to me. To that end, I will push myself to bring that up to standard impact.
One thing, low impact will be enough to complete the clock, though, if this is going towards the clock.
Oh.
Yep.
Never mind. I think I will just take the low impact and push myself to get 3 dice.
All right.
Fill those bubbles in. Those are blocks, technically. Spreadsheet. Okay. Position is controlled. Impact. It is. Bonus dice 1. Oof.
Oh.
Okay. So on a controlled roll, when you roll a 1, 2, or 3, or in this case, a 1, a 2, and a 3, consequences here are okay. You can try again with a different action, or you can try the same action again from a worse position. Otherwise, we're looking at consequences for the roll.
All right. I'm gonna do the same thing, but from risky. And instead of trying to communicate with the creature, I am going to use my magic to shift the currents and loosen it that way.
Okay.
Can we get a quick shot of Ada and Penelope smoking a cigarette on the deck of Brejik? Like, so how do you think it's going down there?
I think good. I think having a great time. I'm sure. I'm sure.
All right. This time it's only going to be 2d6 because I'm not going to push myself again. Risky, low, go. Wow. All right.
Oh.
Jeez.
Flash back up to the top again.
Yep.
Like, if I know somewhere, she's got this covered. She's having a great time.
Sorry, I took all the luck with that crit.
Yeah. Ada stuffs her cigarette out and kind of grumpily moves off to secure something on Brejik's deck.
All right, risky consequences. Okay. I have an idea here. How mean should it be? Okay. I am going to, as the consequence here, you're attempting to commune with the, tune to the ocean and get the currents here to help dig the cocoon out, and we're also attempting to communicate with the creature in the cocoon, and weren't having a lot of success with that. And I think what happens here is that the cocoon does another pulse, almost as if you trying to interfere with the currents that it has established around itself has caused it distress. and it does a pulse, and the pulse sends out a underwater shock wave in all directions. It sends the two of you under the water, like tumbling about, not too dangerously so, like I'm sure you can right yourselves. And up above, Bregic rocks under this unexpected thing, but the pulse, as it goes out, is drawing attention towards this location, as a beam of light also erupts up into the sky from this, as if it were a beacon lighting, which I will use to tick the Acanthian Navy clock here 2 times, unless you wish to resist this consequence.
What if, instead of ticking the Acanthian Navy 2 times, you ticked it once and then ticked the Transcendent Feeders once as well, because I'm using a lot of magic?
It's an option. We can do that if you'd like.
Go for it. I'm not going to resist this.
Okay, that's two controlled consequences then that we're doing here. Ticking 2 different clocks, each 1 time. So Transcendent Feeders and Acanthian Navy Notice are now both at 2 out of 4, and Secure Cocoon is at 3 out of 4.
I tried.
Up on the deck, you see this pillar of light burst into the sky briefly, and it fades, trailing particles as it goes up into the stratosphere. And there's some sounds of shouts, and it looks like one or two of the smaller ships are starting to break off from the main engagement, the Acanthian ships, and are beginning to come in this direction. At the same time, you can feel an ionic charge in the air. If you have hairs, some of them you would find, the finer ones, such as human arm hairs, would be starting to stand on end as something is charging in the atmosphere nearby.
Ooh.
What's happening up on the boat?
I think that Ada gets on comms, which I believe is free for all of us, right? Simple comms?
Yeah, comms
Cool.
are free.
Cool. And radio's down. What's going on down there?
I'm trying to secure the chains. I don't know what's going on. It seems pretty magic-y down here.
Do you think is the chain itself like connected to the cocoon at this point, and we just need to get it up?
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Cool.
it's being kind of like covered up by rocks and underwater debris and stuff.
Right. I think yeah, so Ada says, is the chain attached?
Chain attached.
All right. Careful, I'm gonna do a quick maneuver to try and get it in tow. And I think that Ada is going to try and basically pilot Bregic in a way that will sort of shake it a little bit, but not, hopefully without like busting it up, but just kind of give it a little shimmy so that maybe it'll come loose and we can get along our merry way.
Maybe kind of like trying to circle around it to kind of like wiggle it out.
Yeah, exactly.
This sounds like it's probably finesse, which includes handle a mount or vehicle.
Cool. That sounds good to me.
You're in a risky position. I think this will... Bregic's big, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll call this standard effect.
Cool.
I'm imagining Bregic and this cocoon are roughly equal size.
Sounds good to me. It's a big cocoon. I'm going to go ahead and push myself to get an extra D.
I was going to offer to help if I'm like on the winch or something.
Cool. Yeah, no, that'd be great.
Okay.
So I will be rolling with an extra 2 dice. You said it's risky standard?
That's the one.
Classic.
That is the classic Forged in the Dark position. All right, you got a 5.
Nice.
Yay!
Right. So, risky consequence. Well, first off, secure cocoon. That's full. Boop. So the cocoon is now. It is as you are pulling it. The sands are shifting. You're moving around, and the debris is getting cleared off as as Bregic. I keep meaning to say the boat, but it's Bregic the turtle. As you are guiding Bregic around, what is the... Sorry for the diversion here. How do you pilot Bregic?
That's a good question. I think that it's a combination of coaxing and some kind of like unobtrusive, not quite a bridle, not quite a like classic ship's wheel, somewhere in between.
Okay, so there's like a control device.
I think
of
so.
some
Yeah.
sort connected.
But I think there's a fair amount of communication.
Yeah, we were talking about how you and Brejik can understand each other to a limited degree.
Yeah, like dog-like or horse-like.
Yeah. Okay. So slowly there's this like groaning noise as the debris and sand and such are shifting away from the ground here. And the cocoon is sending out a few more of those pulses. So you see those pillars of light beaming into the air at different angles as it's getting pulled one way or the other, like this light show that it's giving off, and it's pulsing under the water. So things are difficult for those of you who are not on the surface at the moment. But gradually, slowly, it comes free, and you are able to winch it up and get it into position to start fleeing the scene, as it were, and perhaps just in time, because I think that those lights will probably add a tick to each of these two clocks here, the Transcendent Feeders and the Acanthian Navy, as consequences for that. Would you like to resist either of those?
I'm good.
All right. So these clocks are both now at 3 out of 4. And it seems like a good time for a break before we embark on our journey. What do you think?
Sounds good to me.
I think the last thing that happens before we cut is that I use my HoloLink ability to tether Blink back up onto the ship.
Okay.
I just get tracked back up with the cocoon.
It's a living. Okay. What's the break length that we are doing here? Is there a standard one for the stream, or
5 minutes?
It's been 5 to
back
10,
at-
depending on what
Come
people
back
want.
at 45.
sure?
Yep,
All right. We'll be back in 5 minutes. Get yourselves a snack. Let's all go to the lobby and so on and so forth.
And jam out to some of my music.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And we're back. All right. Thank you, everyone, for bearing with us through that brief break. It is now time for a longer break. And the breaking we're going to be doing is breaking the tides as we try to make our way up to the Kaiju Conservation Center.
And making a break for it.
Mm-hmm. Hopefully it's not going to break bad. So, when we left off 5 minutes ago, we were aboard Brejik, and you had winched the cocoon up to nestle against Brejik's belly. And so this big glowing cocoon, which is still trailing debris and dirt and stuff into the ocean, making it cloudy in this area, is it's giving off those pulses every few seconds still. The light is muted because Brejik is right above it, so it's not sending pillars of light up anymore. But you can see this this glow within Brejik. You know, even looking down, you can see Brejik basically lighting up and glowing each time the cocoon sends out one of its pulses. Brejik does not appear to be in distress about this, but it is drawing attention in the area. We're at 3 out of 4 on both the Transcendent Feeders and the Acanthian Navy Notice clocks here. But we now need to get to where we are going without getting caught.
Primed for a classic 2 things happen at once.
I had an idea towards that end.
Yes?
I was thinking about trying to make some charm wards to ward off any transcendent feeders that might show up.
Oh, interesting.
See what I can do.
Okay. While you're looking at that, I'm going to start our clock for getting to Mirjan. And this is an 8-tick clock to arrive there. Oh, sorry. No, it's a 6-tick clock. There we go. And I will just get that set up while you are all thinking about what you would like this to look like, this journey that we're going to undertake.
Mm-hmm.
Could we do actions to like undo clock ticks?
You can, yes.
All right, then I think that my idea of making some wards would go towards that goal. So I'm going to do that. So yeah, we just get, I guess, a couple shots of somewhere just kind of running to and fro with various random bits of charm stuff. I'm going to be taking my Charmwook tools for this.
Okay.
And so it describes it as basic cabling, sticks of charcoal, mystic pebbles, a simple interface, tools for simplistic communication, low-level analysis, and minor disruption of transcendent phenomena. So I think that'll help.
Definitely. Is that something you want to do a roll about at this point?
Yes.
Okay. Tell me about that.
I think it makes most sense for it to be shape. It could also be tune, but I guess shape seems to be more about technology.
Yeah, shape new technology, modify existing machinery, code, hardware, repairs. Whereas tune is connecting to transcendent forces.
All right. So what do you think? Tune?
I think tune makes sense. If you're basically, in a lot of ways, you're connecting to the transcendent field here in order to try and mute your presence or in some way.
All right. Does using my Charmwork tools give me any bonus to this?
Yeah. So for one, it will allow you to do it. On the other level, I think if you were just trying to attune to chase away spirits that are attracted to transcendent forces, that would be fairly counterproductive.
Mm-hmm.
So it would most likely be no impact. I think with the tools at your disposal, you're able to do more of that reverse engineering type or reverse spell engineering type thing. So that'll bring you up to low impact with the tools declared.
Right. Risk. Impact. Limited.
I can help too.
How would you like to help?
What does this magic look like? Like how are you accessing it and how are you employing it?
I think it's just drawing a bunch of different sigils onto Brejik's shell, mostly around the perimeter, but in various places. So if you're helping out, I probably give you like a list of like places on Brejik to draw and like what to draw there.
Okay. Yeah, I think I'm magical enough to like replicate them correctly, but maybe not magical enough to like know what the sigils should be in the first place. So I think I can follow your directions on this.
All right.
I marked one
Okay.
stress to help.
And are you adding a die for that? Yes, that's what you're doing. Yeah.
You're adding a dice. Okay, so it's still
Oh,
going to be.
I thought it's usually the person making the roll gets to decide how the help is, but I could be wrong.
So for assist in this game, when you assist another player who's rolling, describe what your character does to help. Take 1 stress and give them +1d to their roll. You might also
Okay.
suffer any consequences that occur because of the roll, depending on the circumstances.
Sounds good.
Okay, so it's just 1 bonus dice. Go.
You got a 6. That means
Hey.
you
Hell yeah.
generate harmony.
Yay!
Do we?
Yeah, that's a teamwork maneuver.
Oh, I thought the assist didn't count as a teamwork maneuver.
It says when there's an assist, so that's a good question. I think the setup action itself, would generate harmony. Assist another strider who's rolling an action.
Because that means we would have got a harmony earlier too. Because I figured assist didn't count.
The earlier one was the setup action, right? Was there an assist on the earlier one as well, or was it just the setup?
It was,
Because
it
somewhere
was
was
an assist too.
yeah, so somewhere helped me with the roll.
Mhm.
But it just seems like it would be a lot if like I was saying, like if every time you assisted and got a 6, it seems like you could get harmony.
It's supposed to be a lot, I think, intentionally to foster
Yeah.
lots of teamwork.
It is
and also
listed
to make people
as a
less
teamwork maneuver.
less scared to
So.
use the harmony, especially
guess,
because there's so many abilities that use harmony to do a thing.
Right.
Like my main ability requires harmony.
Yeah, I think we should definitely interpret it that way, because if I look at the list of teamwork maneuvers, assist is there. So
Okay, cool. That means we have 4 harmony.
Yeah.
Yay!
So let's see. You're painting these sigils on Brejik's shell.
Mm-hmm.
Let me just add this extra harmony there. Okay. And you had low effect, so I'm going to untick the Transcendent Feeder's clock by 1.
Works for me.
So it's down to 2 out of 4. That ionizing effect in the atmosphere abates as the last of the sigils is in place. So, challenges to contend with as you make your way to Mirjan. There is an ongoing battle, very close, and it looks like it's stretching across a lot of this strait in between the continent and the archipelago. So there's going to be constant danger of being noticed and perhaps pursued. It's hard to say. There are those smaller ships that are still on their way from the main battle nearby over towards you, and they still seem to be keeping pace. They're not drawing too close, but they are following as you go. There's the battle. There's the ocean, which is there's the unstable effect that you have asked the ocean to do big waves. So the ocean is doing big waves, which makes it difficult to sail, as it were, because you're on a big turtle. The big turtle is probably going to have some difficulty with big waves. It's also going to be difficult to thread the needle through the shallower parts of the sea here, especially once you're in that channel between Koyaya and Realta.
Is there anything Penelope can do to help?
Ooh. So I've just been looking. Part of me was thinking I could try and get some support to deal with the Acanthia Navy people. Sort of do an equivalent thing for them.
So thinking about what you might do to deal with their notice.
Yeah.
Okay. And of course, the cocoon is continuing to send out those pulses, which are going to irritate sea life as you travel. And the other issue there, of course, is as you recall from your studies when you were planning the route here, there's all kinds of big creatures constantly crisscrossing this area at this time of year. So those pulses combined with those big creatures is probably going to create some issues that you probably would rather not deal with.
Oh, I might jump on that then.
I
might
like to
sort of
think that they're like
put my
huge elephant seals that are like beaching
Yeah.
on a nearby island, and then their hunting patterns are so irregular. And that's what's the creature causing the trouble.
I love that. That's fantastic. And on the lookout for these elephant seals. I think I'm down in my little like comms hub. And I think I'm just gonna be, but yeah, basically just sort of be running like scans like across like the ocean, sort of probably mostly for those and anything that's getting drawn by that.
Okay. So you're running the scans and trying to make sure that we're not going to run too close to any of these gigantic creatures with their big noses flopping about in the ocean depths.
Yeah.
Elephant seals are already pretty big, so if they're gigantic elephant seals, you don't want to mess around with them. Okay, is this an action you would like to do?
Is. And I would also like to mentally interface with the comms of the ship,
All right.
which means I get potency on the roll because of the brain stuff I have going on.
All right. How do you connect to the comm system in that way? What's the scene we see?
So I've said it's like various bits of shell. It's sort of all on that.
Yeah, I'd
And
imagine there's probably the comm system is probably not like a growing part of
yeah, but it's sort of
project, so that's probably attached on.
mhm. Yeah. I mean, like it's just she's sort of like coming apart a bit, so she just like has some wires and just sort of like plugs herself in to the mainframe.
All right.
You're
Get
in.
that. Got the classic dial-up. You've got mail. So you're connected into the system now mentally, and yeah, you can run your scans. What type of action do you want to do this with? Do you think
Thinking decipher.
decipher? Okay, so makes sense. Conduct experiments, do research. All right. With the combination of the pulses and the lights from the cocoon and the choppiness of the ocean, I think we're going to be at low effect with risky position. There's all kinds of things currently interfering with all of your scanning equipment.
Is that including the potency from my ability?
Your potency from your ability will add to, let's see, that will add to the effect overall, right? So the potency being
Yeah.
directly connected to it, I think will bring you up to standard.
Cool. Then I might use a harmony to get an extra dice.
Go for it.
Good idea.
Go for it.
Cool. Ba 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 ba. Ba 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 ba. Risky standard.
Yep. Okay. We got a 5.
Out of
So I will tick this up twice. on the Reach Mirjan clock. As you're able to sort of plot out, you see the massive sensor shadows of these creatures, and you're able to successfully, despite the interference, what's the word I'm looking for, navigate through little bits of free space between them where you're not going to be pinging them too badly with the cocoon's constant pressures there. And as you are moving through there, I think the issue here is it's just your movement has started, your sensors are running, there's this glowing turtle thing, and the pulse is continuing to go out. And I think this is going to add a tick to the Acanthian Navy notice clock for sure, as one of the consequences there. Would you like to resist that one?
I would love to resist that one.
Okay. How are you resisting the notice of the fleet of all this sound and light show that's going on?
I think it's just to do with she's very used to this. She's very used to sort of project and also technology
Okay.
we have on there, and it's just sort of very attuned, and knows simultaneously while sending out the scanning things, also is sending out a sort of blocking signal, like a white noise.
Okay. Try and flood their own sensors.
Yeah.
Okay. So that sounds like it's probably resisting with, let's see, it sounds like it would be analysis you're resisting with there. Does that make sense to you?
Works for me.
Okay.
Bonus dice 0.
All right. So you rolled a 6. So that means that you do not take stress in order to do this. You're very efficient in your works here, Penelope.
Good
You're
shit.
able to send out this flood of data and white noise and such, as you said, so that even though the Acanthian pursuers know that there's something out there, it's very difficult for them between the waves and the sensor data that you're sending out, the garbage data, to point your location and distance at the moment. All right. The second consequence is as you turn around from doing this, you notice that there is somebody standing. Is this a compartment inside the shell, or is this where does this part of the ship, this comms part of the ship, where is it in relation to Bregic?
I was picturing, sort of inside.
Okay. So you turn around and you see that behind you, leaning against the wall and with a very sort of casual look to it, there is a person watching you do this. And it's not someone who should be on this turtle.
Hey!
Sorry.
They look up at you, and they have a hat, like a wide-brimmed black hat. It has a red hat ribbon around it, red hat band around it. It's a wide-brimmed hat, slightly floppy. So the brim is still covering over their eyes and nose, and you just see the mouth. It quirks into a bit of a smirk, and the voice says, "No, Haze, actually."
Shut up!
You can't.
My god. Comms Ada, I need some help.
I'll be right down.
Comms?
Ada runs down into the inner comms compartment.
Okay. Yeah, you run down into the inner comms compartment and you see this figure. They are lounging against the side of the room next to the open door. And they turn briefly to look at you. And as their hat brim clears the upper half of their face, you find that you can't really tell what's going on with their face. You can see the mouth that's quirked into this sort of this smirk still, but the rest of the face, it's like your mind just can't process it. So what you see is just sort of this glitchy static where the rest of this person's face should be beneath their hat brim. And they straighten up and they're wearing a long jacket. It's not like all the way to the ground, but it's a long jacket, like a greatcoat style thing, in a vaguely military cut, also black with some red bands, like at the shoulders. And there is a pin that is on this person's chest, and the pin is a what is it? I have this written down. Okay. The pin is like a vector graphic of a cedar tree. So like that triangular succession of increasingly smaller triangles as it gets to the top. And it's that pin is green, sort of in contrast to the black and red of the rest of this person's outfit. And they look at you and they say, which one are you?
Ada looks past this person and says, Penelope, who is this?
I don't know. They just showed up. I was dealing with everything. I was checking there for the seals, and now none of this person just out of nowhere. And I think it's very rude of you, to be honest.
Ada says, I agree. And I think that you're the one who should be telling us who you are immediately.
You know, that's an excellent point, and I agree.
I already told you, my name's Hayes.
I think we can, well, actually, okay. Ada says, well, Hayes, I'm Ada, and I think I'm going to need a little more information than that as to why you're on my friend Brezhik.
Oh, well, yes. I am here for the Cocoon. I would like the Cocoon, please.
To what end?
Well, I mean, that's not really your business. I just want the Cocoon.
Well, it's not really your Cocoon, so I think you're going to have to do a little bit better than that.
Okay, well, I can make you an offer here. I can take the Cocoon. You can release your hold on it and let it float down and just be on your way. And then I won't have to destroy this lovely boat.
Ada visibly grimaces at the mention of violence against Brezhik. Steels herself, kind of, stands a little bit straighter, crosses her arms, and says, how about I make you a counteroffer? You get the hell...
I love negotiations.
You get the hell off of my ship, and I don't beat you into a bloody pulp.
Yes. Good spirit. I'm not particularly concerned about that at the moment, as will become clear to you, I think, should you attempt to pursue that avenue. But I can leave your ship, certainly. But if you don't release the Cocoon, I'm still going to have to destroy it. Hayes settles back against the wall while they're waiting here.
I think Ada calls on the comms quickly for Somewhere in Lucky to come down.
Yeah, the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're probably finished with our sigils.
Mm-hmm.
Got a very rude person on board.
Incredibly rude.
Hey, how did they get in?
We don't know. Just showed up.
Well, a magician never reveals their secrets. Are we all here now? Is there anyone else who needs to come and join this party, or can we get on with this?
No, I think we can get on with it. You were just leaving, right?
Well, I mean, I'd like to have your response. I mean, I don't want to destroy your boat. It's very nice, your turtle rather, but the cocoon.
Think
I
you're
mean,
bluffing.
do you need to take a vote?
I think you're bluffing.
To back up a little bit or forward, I was a little bit trying to trigger a command roll here to intimidate this person.
Okay.
So I don't know if we want to play that out a little bit more or what.
It could be a group action since we're all here.
I agree. Yeah, especially now that everyone's here. I would love to lead a group command action against this person.
Okay. Let's see. So this person pays and tier 0. Okay. So we're in a risky position to start with. Right. So the it's really going to depend on the content of the threat that you're leveraging against them here, whether this would have an effect or not.
Mm-hmm.
So if the threat is beat them to a paste, there's going to be no effect on that.
All right, maybe we wait.
I've got an angle.
Yeah, go for it.
We were hired to do this, basically. What if we tell them it's not up to us and you'll have to take it up with the preserve if you really want this?
Well, I mean, they're threatening to blow us up.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to care about that either.
I mean, if it seems like they're willing to negotiate, maybe giving them the runaround and be like, no, you got to negotiate with these people, not us.
I think the use of the word like making a deal or negotiate was meant to like basically tell us give it up or die. I don't think there was like any actual terms they were willing to accept besides.
That was sarcasm for sure.
Sure. I just thought it was an idea.
There are ways that you can try to get a read on this person.
Yeah, okay. I think I'll start with that. Maybe do a little deciphering here, or if somebody else wants to jump in and decipher.
I have helpful things, but it's all reactionary to stuff going wrong. So I'm gonna wait for something to go wrong.
Yeah, I think Ada is sizing this person up at this point. Then.
Okay. They have out a pocket watch, and as they open up the pocket watch, there's like a cloud of smoke that rises up out of it and forms a very obnoxious analog clock that they're watching just tick, tick, tick. And they're like, there's not too much time left as you're working on this analysis to decipher them. I think, how are you going about this?
I think that Ada is partly just sizing them up as far as you might in a barroom brawl, but also paying close attention to the pin chest and any other, identifying features that might give some clue as to this person's identity or motives.
Okay. So you roll your decipher. You're in a risky position, and this will have a standard effect.
Cool.
With this method.
I think I might pull a harmony if that's okay with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Go for it.
Cool.
Oh, you spent one already, right? So that's last roll. So we'll put down. That'll bring us to 2.
So that'll be 1 bonus die.
Ooh, nice. 6. Okay. So you notice a couple of things. First off, this person does just seem completely unbothered by the threats of violence against their person. The reason that might be, well, first off, you can't get any read on their face. Like trying to remember their face just doesn't work. Like you might get a glimpse of their eyes or nose they ever have of their face, at some point, but immediately you forget it. And it just seems like your mind can't hold on to any identifying features, any identifying facial features of Hayes here. But something you do note is that there's a slight shimmer around their feet that wouldn't be there normally. And with a 6, I think what you can determine from this is that this person isn't really here. Like this is some type of projection or hologram, or maybe an astral projection.
Gotcha. Okay, I think Ada says, why should we think that you can do anything? You're not even here.
So the face looks up, they snap the clock shut and return it to their pocket on the chain that it's on. And they say, well, I suppose that's a matter of perspective, isn't it? You can see me, I can see you. We can discuss things with one another like civilized people. The fact that my body isn't here doesn't mean that I can't touch you.
They've got a point, unfortunately.
Well,
I mean,
you
honestly,
claim to be a
it's...
wizard. Well, we're all wizards as well.
I know a thing or two about you, but I'm always happy to learn more. You're here for... what was it? Representative Choi, right? That's Melanie Choi's.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm sure she'll be heartbroken if you don't recover this cocoon, as she always is when any creature is beyond her reach. But at the same time, it's the kind of hit your reputation can probably afford, isn't it? Isn't it better to suffer some indignity than suffer an ultimate fate? If you want me to leave, I'll leave. But know that once I leave, a timer will start. And at the end of that timer, this creature of yours will be destroyed. The cocoon will survive, but none of the rest of you will.
I think Ada is too angry to talk right now if somebody else wants to step in.
Why go
I
through
have
all
been
of
trying to
this
like...
trouble?
Oh, go ahead.
Why go through all this trouble? There are no shortage of powerful things in Tamaris that you could get your hands on. Does it really have to be this innocent creature?
That's an assumption now, isn't it? How do you know this creature's innocent?
Well, it's a cocoon, and I can't imagine a cocoon can commit very many sins.
There's so many caterpillar crimes, you know?
So, a cocoon does not come into existence fully formed on its own. A cocoon is created by a living being. That living being is transformed within it. But if that being is transformed, are its crimes wiped away? Are its sins forgiven?
I
Is
want
it being
to...
problematic? What are you talking about?
Sorry, what you're saying?
Yeah, I wanted to like use my charm tongue ability again to speak to reality itself.
Mm-hmm.
I just don't know. I'm trying to figure out if this makes sense here. I want to see if this person is bluffing, or to kind of check in if there is like a threat that we don't know about that they can follow through with, like explosives or some sort of magical trap.
So
I'm trying to figure out how to make that work.
So from Ada's decipher roll there, that was being a 6, I can carry that through to say there's no indication that Hayes is bluffing. Hayes seems completely confident that they will be able to do exactly what they say they'll be able to do.
Mm-hmm.
Whether or not that's true, whether there is an actual threat that you be able to sense from here is something that you might be able to look into maybe maybe you want to run a systems check or something along those lines, or because it's not clear how exactly Hayes plans to destroy you and Brejic.
Gotcha.
Just that they seem confident that they can.
And there's no way of like sensing where they might be projecting from.
Yeah, you could absolutely try to do that. That is something you could give a shot to. I think it would be difficult, but I mean, you've got magic powers. You're attuned to transcendent energies.
I don't have any tune though.
It's something someone could do.
Yeah. I mean, I can talk to reality, and then when I can talk, I can connect. So maybe I can use my magic to make the connection and then use connect instead of tune to actually communicate. Would that make sense?
I think if you want to use charm tongue. Oh, are you all right?
I just sneezed.
Oh, because insight. Okay, so reshaping the world according to your desires +1 stress research feature. So you want to, what is it that you want to talk to reality about here?
If they can like identify the source of this, because I have kind of a plan here. Being another like user of transcendent power, I want to try to sick the what did we call them? The
transcendent feeders?
Yeah, I wanted to try to sick the transcendent feeders on Hayes instead of us.
Okay.
So like I wanted to like negotiate with the like transcendent feeders to like go after Hayes instead of us.
Okay.
Trying to paint a target on Hayes' back.
Love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay. So I'm just trying to decide how many different bits of information I should include on the 6 that Ada rolled, and how, because I don't want you to be wasting stress and stuff on things that you might already know. So yeah, I'll give you this. There isn't a transcendent resonance here. This is most likely a radiant effect. So
Gotcha.
more based on a technological effect than more of a transcendent magical effect.
And there isn't transcendent like nature to radiant technology.
This not in this case.
Okay.
Like there's no emanation of transcendent energy from Hayes.
Gotcha.
So the assumption would be at that point it's probably a radiant technology that they're using.
Okay, my plan probably won't work then. I'm gonna.
We can build off of my like grilling Hayes and maybe try and buy us more time from him. So like Hayes can just like fuck off and go back to wherever he goes. And
Or it's they for Hayes.
oh, sorry, they. And we can try and maybe track the signal once they return. Like maybe there's like a lingering thing that we could trace, and then kind of try and formulate our counterattack once we know where the attack is coming from.
Okay.
Because I feel like we're not going to get through to them while they're standing here technologically projecting onto our boat, onto Brejic.
Yeah, I mean, it's from your read again. They're not particularly interested in any actual negotiations, and they are pretty confident that they're capable of doing what they say they're going to do. So, like, once you ask them to leave, yeah, that countdown is going to start, and they're going to try and destroy Brejic at the end of it. You will have time to try and figure out what that threat is and diffuse it if that's what you wish to do.
Yeah, I think trying to trace where they actually are definitely makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I don't think there's anything we can get out of this convo.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, Hayes will leave if you ask them to.
Is there a way that someone could use Tune to try and trace where they are currently, though?
I want to actually try and, I don't know, bluff to try and convince Hayes to give us like a little more time, like a head start. Like, Hey, let's make this fun. Give us a bit more of a head start if you're so confident. Something along those lines.
Let me see. Hayes's adjectives are smiling and effective. Yeah, you can try. I think this would have a low impact in an attempt to convince Hayes to give you more time, or maybe if you spin it a different way, like you need to get in touch with Mirjan and maybe negotiate with them before you can release the cocoon or something, and then maybe try to get some extra time by lying.
Okay, I like that idea. When we're really just trying to figure out where the signal is coming from. Okay.
Yeah. I think like for a different character, the let's make a game of this might work. I think just for Hayes, that would be you'd be wasting your time.
Yeah, I get it. And I like your angle a lot better. So I get potency when trying to convince people to act selflessly or in the best interests of others. And it's in our best interest to have as much time as we want. So I think that tracks.
All right. So let's see. With the gained potency, I think you'll be at risky with standard effect on this attempt.
Okay. I have a 0 on bluff, so I'm going to push myself to get 1 dice for this.
Mm-hmm.
Let me fill those in.
And there's still 2 harmony left.
I can help.
It's push self or harmony.
Oh,
right?
yeah. Sorry.
Oh.
Yeah, push self or harmony. But you can push self and assist.
No, it's push self or Lotus Gambit, right?
Let me double check here. I want to make sure that I'm not messing things up here. Okay. Assist, take 1 stress, only 1 person may assist. Set up, media group action, protects. This is the thing that I always get wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Which ones you can combine and not.
It's different in every Forge in the Dark game too.
Yeah,
I know it's an old
I think,
sheet, but on the sheet here, it's push yourself or Lotus Gambit.
Well, the sheet is the most up-to-date thing, so let's go with that. Yeah, push yourself, take a Lotus Gambit, get assisted, or spend harmony.
Oh, sorry, I was looking at the roll 20 sheet.
Yeah, the roll 20 sheet is the 0.4 one.
Right.
Just give me a minute, and I will check the book to make sure that we are doing the correct thing here. The player adds bonus dice. You typically get up 3 bonus dice for your action roll, although some special abilities might give you more. The first way is to get help from a teammate. They take 1 stress. Say how they help you, give 1d. The second way is to get a bonus die is to either push yourself to take 2 stress or to accept a Lotus Gambit. You can't get dice for both. It's one or the other. The third way is to spend harmony, which is a limited resource. You earn it by taking dramatic risks. So yeah, you can spend harmony and do one of the other methods.
Okay, I think I'll take that assistance and spend a harmony then, instead of pushing myself.
Okay. And sorry, who is helping you?
I was going to help. I just wanted clarification on what the argument was again here.
Basically, we're going to be like, it's not really up to us. We have to check back with our contact to, update them on the situation. Get approval and all of that. Kind of just a bluff to like stall for time, get a little extra time.
Yeah. Do we know where this person's from? Are they a Campion? They're probably, right? Based off of the conflict.
It's likely. You've seen the pin. That they have. If that's something that you want to learn more about, then that's something you can try to learn more about. But it's not something immediately like universally recognizable. It's not common knowledge.
Gotcha. I think I'm going to add to the bureaucracy element of this and be like, well, technically in the treaty from the first attempted occupation, these oceans count as pelagic territory still. So any natural resources found have to go through pelagic authorities first before they can be traded or apprehended by any outside parties.
Okay. And All right, let's make your roll and see how this argument goes.
All right, that's 2 dice. Risky standard. Rolling.
A 6.
Yeah. All right.
Okay. I think Hayes, their smirk turns into more of a genuine smile, and then they nod and they say, I understand. I understand bureaucracy. I know what red tape is like. Bane of my existence. So tell you what.
Totally.
Yeah. Originally, I was going to give you an hour. So let's bump that up to 2. I know it can take some time to get through to, the politicians and such. If you want to get back in touch with me, well, you don't really need to. Just release the cocoon. And if that happens before the 2 hours are up, you can just paddle away. If not, you know the consequence.
Understood.
And they tip their hat and they sink through the floor.
So, Penelope has been quiet for this whole thing.
Yeah, what's Penelope want to do here? Penelope,
part
you
of
were
that
quite
is that-
surprised by this.
Penelope was still plugged into the comm system,
Yeah.
and you said this was potentially, if Radiant Tech, which is Penelope's former merchant specialty.
Ooh.
And so I would like to try and make that tracking roll.
Okay.
And maybe sort of have been like setting that up and sort of very like slowly and carefully doing it during that whole little negotiation scene.
Yeah. I mean, that's a zero stress flashback because you had the opportunity to do this. And, they weren't necessarily paying attention to you because the rest of your team was distracting them. Sorry, go ahead.
No, that's good. We can move on.
Okay.
I'd like to help out here, but I'm having trouble thinking of a good angle.
Could the distraction count as a help, or is that already in there?
That bluff roll, that was a teamwork maneuver. So we get back on harmony.
Yay.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Or did we spend a harmony on that one?
I did spend a harmony on that.
Okay.
So
Well, it's just we stay at 2 then. Rather than being down to 1.
Save me one for when things break bad because my main move spends harmony.
Maybe Ada sits here by just sort of like stepping, like she notices what Penelope is up to and just sort of tries to kind of step in between Hayes and Penelope just to sort of add a little bit of cover there. Does that make sense?
Sure. For while Hayes was still talking, we can say
exactly.
this trace was running while that was happening,
Totally.
while you were stalling them. Okay, good.
Cool. So I will add an extra die to your roll there.
And let's see. So this. I think this is trace. No. Well. Trace a target's location or path, but you're using technology to do it. Find something or someone hidden, attack with precision. But decipher is do research, analyze data. Well, which one is going to work best for you here?
Decipher, I'm better at.
Okay. So you've got a bonus die. This is so it's limited effect to start with because this radiant technology is something you're not familiar with, and you're trying to do it quietly and without being noticed. And we're still in risky position.
Yeah. So that's 2 dice. So do you say risky
You're getting
limit?
Yeah, risky limited. You're getting an additional die from assistance, and you can push yourself or get a Lotus Gambit or something along those lines.
Nice. I will. If I'm
Plus
being
there's
assisted
Harmony.
and I use a harmony,
Yes, you can.
that'll get me up to
Harmony
3.
you
So
can
I'll
always add.
hopefully have a decent chance of getting it back.
All right, let's take a look.
So let's try that. Read. Actually, could I might push myself for effect.
You're welcome to do that. What does that look like here? And the camera zooms in on Penelope. What do they see as Penelope pushes herself in this situation?
I think this would be. Yeah, I think it's sort of in that sort of digital space, and she's just sort of very, just sort of extreme focus and concentration. Just be like, oh well, I know that if I do this and I attach that to that, and I haven't seen something like this before, but this was like that other thing that I traded to that guy for this thing, but then in this other way, it seems to resonate with that. And if I
She's in
see
her,
just a lot of
she's in her mind
mental.
palace.
I have a
Exactly.
fun visual for it if you'd like to hear it.
Sorry, what was that?
What?
What was it that you said?
I thought of a fun visual for this going on in like the digital space.
Fun.
Well, yeah, what's your idea?
I just imagined just like a bunch of like slightly different Penelopes like all hanging out in this space, kind of just like comparing notes of like, oh, this one over here remembers it looking kind of like this and remembers this encounter, but this one over here remembers this exchange. And so you just have like a bunch of them just kind of like shouting over each other in this digital space. Like slowly piecing together like a coherent pathway, I guess.
Cool. Oh, and actually, instead of pushing myself, because I get the potency on mental interfacing and digital spaces to get me up
Okay.
to standard instead.
Yeah, then you don't have to push yourself in that case.
Yeah, and then 2 bonus die with harmony. Roll. Yay!
Wow.
It's really insistent on that too. 2, 2, 2. All right. Okay. Whew. 2 things happen.
Oh, no.
One, while you are in the network here, you find that there is something that Hayes has injected into the data stream. Or you assume it must have been Hayes because no one else has been here that you know of. So you're figuring out this idea, you're doing all this cool stuff, and you're initiating the trace. And as you begin to initiate the trace, we get the visual of the tracer that you've gotten. It's heading down the data superhighway into the internet there, and it stops dead in front of it's that image again that was on their pin. It's that vector graphic cedar tree. The tracer like icon slams into this thing that rises suddenly up out of the darkness and falls to the ground. So the consequences there are the first one. You get less effect. So you reduce your impact to low impact. So you get some idea of a vague direction of where Hayes might be, but or you would get. No, sorry, there was no success there, so I can't do that one. All right, just a sec. I know what one of them is, so I guess we'll start with that. One of them is this thing that is hanging out in Brejic's systems that was presumably left behind by Hayes. It sends out an alarm that pings the astatine crowns of the figureheads on the Acanthian ships, and that fills up the Acanthian Navy notice. They have your position. They can't catch you right away because they're off doing other things, but if they want to, they know where you are. And that is the first consequence. There. And of course, you can always resist consequences if you wish. The second consequence is a direct result of that one, however. So if you would like to resist that consequence, you need to let me know if you're resisting this one first.
Wait, which way around?
So the first consequence is that then the alarm goes off when you try to run the trace. The alarm from this malware, basically, which attracts the Acanthian Navy's notice. And the second consequence is a result of that one. So if you are resisting this consequence, I need to come up with a different one.
Let's see what happens. Why not?
Okay. So the two smaller ships, which are still like about the size of your ship, that were floundering around trying to figure out where you were, like they know you're out there somewhere. Is a slight glow on the astatine crowns of the figurehead on the front of their ship, the figurehead of the queen, and you see them coming about and turning and beginning to churn directly towards your ship. Which means that the second consequence is that I am going to start a new clock. And the new clock is the Acanthian pursuit, meaning that they are chasing you, ships from the Acanthian Navy.
Right.
All right, so I'll remove that filled clock. Change from notice to pursuit. And the Acanthian Navy will catch up to you in 4 ticks because they have very good engines.
They are just a turtle.
Yeah, better than a turtle. I can't believe it.
Yeah, I mean, I got to follow the fiction here, and you are on a turtle.
It's fine.
Hey, turtles can swim pretty fast. Turtles just go slow on land.
Mm-hmm.
It turns out when you asked whether you wanted the boat to be mechanical, an animal, you were setting a trap.
I never set traps. I just find twists. So yeah, you can see those 2 ships are now at the head, heading towards you.
What time of day is it?
It's heading towards mid-afternoon at this point because it was early afternoon when you started.
Okay.
So there are some other ships starting to break off from the battle and heading towards you as well, as you are heading north up the strait here towards the passage between Koyaya and Rayualta to get to Mirjan.
Okay. I have a thought. So you said it was a 4-step clock for them to catch up to us.
Yes.
Is there any way that I could change the circumstances in which that clock will be bigger?
Change the circumstances in which the clock will be bigger.
Yeah.
You can unfill the clock. Like if it ticks, you can untick it by doing stuff to like go faster or slow them down.
Because I wanted to be more preemptive about this.
Okay.
So they haven't tried to catch up yet.
What's your thought?
So the idea I have is I want to charm tongue, and I want to speak to the clouds. And I want to speak to the clouds to orient themselves in a way to have like sort of a prismatic effect on the sunlight to push the light in ways that it will be in the eyes of all of the people driving the ships.
Okay.
Or the workers on the ships to make their jobs more difficult in operating the ship.
Let's see. You can charm tongue to do that. That's a cool idea. I like that effect to make it basically harder for them to continue following you. They know where you're going. Like they have that tracker basically from the alarm that was going off. So, but it will make things more difficult for them. Which I think if you do this charm tongue, it will improve your impact in future actions you take against your pursuit. Does that seem fair?
Sure.
Okay. So when you do this charm tongue and you speak to the clouds, you are asking them to reshape themselves into more like turn their gases into more of a prismatic effect, as you said.
I'm imagining that they turn into more like lenses.
Okay.
So like sort of halo type clouds.
All right. That's a cool idea. I like that visual. Are you spending any additional stress for extra features?
Nope.
Okay. Right. So the effect is unstable. It might collapse at any moment. I think the direct consequence, as soon as you start speaking to the clouds, is the ocean stops showing off. Because you are no longer paying attention to the ocean. And you're talking to somebody else now, and the ocean's like, well, fine, I'm not going to show you my power.
It's fine. The only mechanical benefit we got from that was the bonus die to the engagement. Otherwise, it was giving us lower impact on things. So
yeah, that's how Charm Tongue works. Sometimes it works great.
So yeah, the ocean has only been impeding us since the engagement rule, so that's fine.
I am going to tick up the transcendent feeders as
That's
you're generating transcendent energies there. And when speaking to the clouds, I think you find yourself feeling extremely light, as if things are not serious. So even when you are trying to focus on how serious the situation is, you are finding it difficult to really get that through to yourself, like thinking it's really serious, we're in a difficult situation, but it's also like, yeah, but it's such a nice day out, the ocean's calmer now, look at those cool clouds. It's harder to focus on serious things for you now.
Cool. I need to remember to roleplay that. I forgot to roleplay the other thing.
That's all right. It's just for flavor.
It's good though.
The ocean doesn't want me today.
Not to be the person who brings up the homework that you assigned, but is there a clock related to oh crap, I forgot his name or their name, Hayes?
Yeah, so that clock I'm
keeping close to the chest. That's fine.
I'm not keeping it close to the chest. I'm not mechanizing that one. I think that is, I think that's like because that's a narrative amount of time that you've been given, and especially now that you have attempted to track them and failed at that, it's not entirely clear whether they will honor that agreement to give you the extra time at this point.
Gotcha.
So I'm sort of leaving that card, or I'm leaving that barrel exposed.
Cool. I think Ada looks at the other three and says, so what are we doing? Do we want to go track that jerk?
They got something nasty.
We probably can't make it to the place in 2 hours, can we?
Yeah, that's a good question. Can we even make it at the far end of the time that they gave us?
No.
Gotcha.
You could put in on Koyaya, maybe, within that time. Like, I think you could get to Koyaya at that time. And Koyaya, your characters would know, is it's the island that's not... It's the largest island, but it's also de facto not ruled by an elective... Or not ruled, not represented by an elected representative like the other islands. That island is the territory of the Lunamoths. The Lunamoths are allied with the Koya Council, but they are not officially part of that government, and they are, well, they're enemies of the Asatine throne. Obviously, they're enemies of Acanthia. It's not like it would be bad to put in there. But that is the island where the people who what's the word I'm looking for? These are the people who are the dragon marshals. That's their island. The dragons live on this island.
We could reach out to them and maybe see if they can like send help, like an escort or something.
Yeah, it sounds like they're not the friendliest.
Oh, I don't mean to say they're unfriendly.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just they're not part of the same governmental structure as your characters are,
Gotcha.
but
Well,
they are allied to you.
If we need to ask for help, I am good at that.
I was a part of them for a while, so I've got an in probably.
Cool.
Yeah.
sounds good to me.
Yeah, this is absolutely something you can do.
Okay. How do we want to do it?
So I guess we're just trying to get there as fast as we can at this point. Right?
Yeah.
Try and make contact. Is there a way that we can communicate with them before we get there?
You could probably call them. Yeah, you can probably give them a phone call, or you can Skype them.
Mhm.
There's internet.
Of what if instead of calling them directly, somewhere shoots off like a flare that she knows would get their attention, and then they contact us.
Yeah, absolutely. That could be interesting. That's probably some kind of equipment, maybe, or gear.
Let's see.
I wonder if that's some kind of gear, or maybe that would be an action.
It might be part of a Lucky survival pack.
Okay. Yeah, like you already declared your survival pack there. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm cool to. I mean, how does this do? Is there a mechanical way that the survival pack works in terms of like how many things you can declare from it?
No, it just you have the pack and it has things in it, like a logical amount of things in it.
Yeah. Okay.
The
Cool.
only other thing that we could use is I have a spirit beacon, which I think would be appropriate.
That would also probably attract more of the spirit fears, though.
True. That
No,
would be interesting.
Attract other kinds of spirits too, for sure. Sorry, you said you had a spirit beacon?
Yes, according to the sheet, a collapsible pylon which can broadcast and receive transcendent signals can be used to attract the attention of spirits, but these devices are rare. If you send an outbound signal, there's no way to disguise its origin.
Okay.
I kind of like this idea of using the spirit beacon to get the attention of the Luna moths.
That's cool.
Yeah, maybe it's a type of signal that is a part of the organization, or that they're aware of. It's a method of communication when communication is risky otherwise, because your systems are, as far as you know, compromised, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, I will fill that in on my book. 2 slots, pretty steep. Okay, do I got to roll for this? I guess, right?
Well, let's see. Is there? All right. So just using the spirit beacon, all that will necessarily do is, it's a pylon, and it sends a transcendent signal. So I guess the question is, do you need to program it in a certain way to send this specific signal? If not, actually, I don't think that's narratively interesting. I think we can just say you set up the beacon and that sends out the signal. The consequence is that it ticks up that clock.
Okay.
If that makes sense to all of you.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
Could I resist that consequence?
Yes, you can. How are you doing that?
I think this isn't the first time that I've had to do this. I think I might know like frequencies that might attract spirits on the water less or something like that.
Okay.
So I would be using analysis.
All right. So yeah, you can roll to resist that consequence.
Okay. Fortunately, I have a 3 in analysis.
Hey, a 6.
Wow.
That's very good. All right. So no no stress taken there. And yeah, the beacon unfolds and it sends out this signal, and it's at the right frequency. And you see off in the distance, there's like probably a tense couple of minutes, maybe 5 or 10 minutes, where you're all just watching, looking to the north and to the west to see, like, is anything going to happen? Is anything going to happen?
Oh, I know what it is.
Yeah.
The signal puts out bits, has like a trace of dragon energy, and the spirits that might feed on it are like, ooh, I don't know if I want to mess with something that's got a dragon involved. That's a bit more than a spirit could handle. Maybe something like that. But anyway, let's move on.
All right. So as you are looking, I don't know, maybe you've got a spyglass or something like that to watch the coast. You see rising from the island a large shape. So something is now flying towards you, and you would probably presume it's one of the tachyon dragons still stationed on the island.
Mm-hmm.
So it's making its way here. It'll be here probably soon.
Okay.
All right. So as this is happening, the Acanthian Navy is still pursuing you, and they have not opened. Okay, so they are shooting towards you. There is cannon shot coming towards you from the Acanthian Navy. You have probably spent enough time in naval conflicts and out and seeing, the Acanthian Navy and the Starfire Pelagics Navy showing off at each other enough that you can recognize this as ranging shots. They are trying to figure out how far away you are and how they can shoot you. And the other issue that they're having is they are firing without being able to see you very well, because there's these refractions in the clouds that are getting in their eyes. So they're trying to rely almost entirely on their instruments, which is more difficult for them in this situation.
I
I
think. Oh, go ahead.
I think that gives. So with the ranging shots, is that like they're looking at where the shots land in the water, and that will like try and work out where we are because of that.
Yeah, it'll allow them to adjust their guns for when they shoot actual stuff at you. Like, these are dummy rounds that they're firing to just get your range, see how far away you are, what angle they need to fire at, and how much, whatever they need to put in there to get it to shoot far enough to actually hit you once they shoot bombs and rockets at you.
Cool.
It's
So-
practical math.
Naval combat is hard.
Yep.
Say I mark a heavy ordnance on my load,
Mm-hmm.
I like where this is going.
and I'm going to try and shoot into the water, sort of away from us, to sort of misdirect them, to make us think that like their shots aren't landing where they're actually landing.
Okay.
Ooh.
That's really cool. Yeah, let's do that. This will definitely help you with the Reach Mirjan clock if you are able to focus on heading there rather than getting shot at.
Yeah.
How do we want to do this? All right, so you've marked the gear on your sheet. Good. So
I would put forward this as a bluff.
I think that makes sense to me. Lie convincingly.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're still in a risky position, and I think normally this would be low effect because you would be like, they would be able to see, like, well, that's not where we shot it. But because of the effect with the clouds you've set up, this is definitely going to be standard effects. With your gun, you're able to fire it, and hopefully we'll see how the timing goes in such a way as to fool them.
I'd like to
combination
by just whether piloting in a more erratic fashion or a more stable fashion would help, whichever whichever Penelope tells Ada to do, Ada will be doing.
I like it. All right, let's give it a try.
Okay. And we're using.
You have a bonus die from an assist so far.
So that's me to 3. I might take a harmony, get to 4 dice, and go for that 6 to get the harmony back. That didn't work last time, but it might work this time.
Don't stop believing.
Risky, standard, 2 bonus dice.
Okay, no 6s,
well.
but we did get a 5. Okay, so you succeed in doing this, so that fills up 2 more ticks on the Reach Mirjan clock. I think the consequence here, in the risky consequence, is fairly straightforward. As you are firing these things into the water, the pulses from the still pulsing, still glowing cocoon, let's not forget about that, are bouncing them in different directions. And as you are trying to steer the turtle to assist with this, you are finding that this is actually slowing your progress. So you are in a better position now to get to Mirjan. Like you're approaching, or no, you're not trying to get to Mirjan. You're trying to get to Koyaya, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you're getting, by turning in this way, closer to going to Koyaya, and they are still thinking you're heading for Mirjan, so their trajectory has changed enough that you are closer to the goal you are planning to get to than you were before, but they are closer to you than they were before. So I think the consequence is that I'll tick up the Acanthian Navy pursuit twice.
I have another suggestion.
You may make any suggestion, of course.
You said that maneuvering the turtle was slowing us down. Wouldn't it make more sense to put 1 tick on the Reach Mirjan clock and then 1 tick on the Navy pursuit instead of 2 and 2?
So Reach Mirjan got 2 ticks because you succeeded at a standard effect. Like when you succeed,
one of the consequences would be to knock it down to less.
Oh yeah, you want to do 2 controlled consequences in that way.
Yeah.
If you would prefer that, we can do that. Sure.
I just think it makes a little more sense narratively how we've established it, that it's 1 and 1.
Yeah, let's do that.
Works for me.
There we go.
And we had increased impact on that roll of the clouds.
Yeah, that's what brought you up to standard.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so the dragon is visible now. Like you can make it out in the sky as it is flying towards you, and you are heading now more towards the island from which it is coming. And the Navy, you can see behind you, they're continuing with their ranging shots, but they are firing more towards the Mirjan trajectory because they still think that maybe you're going to turn and head there, because they probably guessed where you're going with the big kaiju cocoon that you're carrying.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not going there, so that's why we're in this slightly confusing clock situation here. Yeah, so the dragon is flying down and sort of starts circling above you, and somebody gets off of the back of the dragon and is rappelling down towards you. They're reaching out a hand, hoping that someone will grab their hand and pull them onto the turtle.
Yeah, I go to meet them.
I'm up there. I'm going to meet them as well, naturally.
Okay, so the person who comes down, they're wearing like goggles, a nice warm hat. They have a scarf on, furry jacket hood. They're wearing, I think it's going to be like a pink and orange color scheme that they've got.
Ooh,
sort of like a sunrise or like a sunset kind of motif in the gradient on their uniform here. They step off of the cable that they've come down on, and they look around to see who they recognize here. And well, you said you used to be a part of this group, the Lunamoths.
Mhm.
Okay, so you probably know this person. This is Mint Iota Tau. They are a seeker, which is an agent who does investigations and looks for things. They seek things on behalf of the Lunamoths. And Mint Iota Tau is she, her, and she pulls her goggles up onto her head, and I think she recognizes you and gives you a smile. And she says, "Hey, what's going on?"
Mint Iota Tau. I'm so glad they sent you.
Well, I was available.
We're having a little bit of an issue with the Acanthians.
We're always having an issue with the Acanthians. Is it to do with those ones back there? She says, pointing towards the boats bearing down on you, firing guns.
Oh, probably.
It, though we have a bit of a bigger problem as well.
Well, how can I help you somewhere else together?
So I kind of give a basic rundown of the situation. You know, we've got this cocoon, we're transporting it. We received a very mysterious threat from somebody high up in the Acanthian military, it seems.
Haze.
Hayes, she says.
And
She
while they were
pauses.
very vague about their intentions,
But they threatened to destroy us in, what, like
yeah,
an
I
hour and a
don't
half now?
think that their threat is any less severe than what they were implying. So we were nearby. I reached out. I used this beacon to maybe see if we could get an escort back to our preserve.
Hayes, she says, and she's like rubbing her chin in thought. Were they wearing anything unusual?
They had a face that one couldn't make out.
Ooh.
Does a cedar tree mean anything to you symbolically?
A red background.
Okay, that Hayes. Okay, yeah, okay. Okay. Whatever they said, they can do. Okay. They are from a secret group in the Acanthian kingdom. They're called the Cedar Phantoms. I'm not sure what their interest is in you. You said they wanted this cocoon?
Mm-hmm.
That's right.
If they want it, they can't have it. Oh.
Certainly not.
Yeah, we figured as much.
Even the queen doesn't support them, but they say they support the queen. You know the kind of person that is, right? And okay, all right, okay.
Is there
Just
any
give me a
way
minute.
we can help you help us?
He's like, yeah, okay, give me a minute. I'm gonna make a call. And she gets out her own slate device and starts she's texting on it. Yeah, and she's making a call back to the mainland, and she seems to be very frantically typing things into her slate while she does that. And she says, "Have you checked for, I don't know, anything that's not supposed to be on your turtle here?"
We could do a flashback to maybe Ada doing something like that after Hayes left.
Yeah, we could definitely do that. Or we could just say no and do it now. Either way.
I mean, you have been a little bit busy.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah.
Says, you want to be.
Yeah, go ahead.
You want to be looking specifically for any radiant tech that you don't recognize, and they are very good at concealing it. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Okay, they use radiant tech, and sometimes they will conceal the radiant tech using transcendent energy. They're very tricky like that.
Should we maybe do a group decipher? All of us just kind of go around over Breshik looking for anything like that?
I like that. Who wants to lead?
Cool.
I'll leave.
All right.
I think I have 0 in Decipher. Oh, I have. Wait. Yeah, 0.
I have 1, so I will roll that.
I guess you don't have to participate if you don't want to. Is that true?
Yeah, a group role doesn't have to be every single person in the party.
So yeah, if you want to sit it out, might be better.
Okay.
Who's
I'm
leading?
I'm still talking with Mint.
Who's leading the search here?
I will.
Okay, so if you're coordinating, then with group actions, the coordinator will take a stress for each failed roll.
Yep.
And then we take the overall highest roll in total.
Cool. Yikes.
We got a 2 so far. We got another 2. Okay,
all
good.
right.
Yep.
Oh my god.
There we
Hey.
Oh, no.
So at least we get a 40 back while I take 2 stress.
Okay. Good. So when okay, so it's Penelope who finds it. Penelope, where are you searching?
I think probably somewhere. Yeah, I mean, it's probably someone just sort of very out the way. Like, we were sort of all in the comms place, so that would be the first place to look. But then, maybe there's just some. Oh, there's not. I was going to say the engine room, but there's not an engine.
Well, it could be like the room
Well,
where.
I guess,
like
yeah,
a-
we have to like make. Maybe it's the. We have like food storage for
Sure, okay.
Project. And
So
it's
as you are searching through the food storage area, you're able to you eventually find you're moving stuff around, you're looking under things, above things, on walls, pushing stuff, shelves and things like that, and you eventually notice that there is like a slight shimmering in the corner of your eye, and every time you look towards it, it like moves back to the corner of your eye again. And what does Penelope do to actually corner this thing? It seems to be moving all around, trying to stay away from you.
I'm going to mark another one of my tech belt uses.
Okay.
For some fire choke foam. A rapidly expanding foam which chokes fires and is difficult to wade through.
Ooh.
And just sort of like get my belt, check out a bit of it. Big expanding foam.
Okay.
Just sort of halts it in its tracks.
So the shimmering, once it gets stuck in the foam, it starts making some noises, like little squeaking noises. And as you go over to look at it, you see that it's a mouse. And normally, a mouse wouldn't be an unusual thing to find in the food stores, even on a ship. But a mouse that is cloaked in a very small amount of transcendent energy is unusual, and especially once you like examine this mouse more closely and look through this cloaking effect that it has, you can see that this mouse is wearing a little backpack with a helmet.
Oh.
And
Comes. Hey team, I found a weird mouse. An important weird mouse, as in come to the pantry.
Well, Mint, I think we found the possible perpetrator.
yeah, I think Mint takes a look at it for sure, and she's like, "Huh. Normally it's a cockroach, but this makes sense. like a literal bug. And she gives a wry, strained grin, clearly under a lot of stress. Okay.
I don't get it.
And she's looking at Penelope. She's like, you seem good with machines. Maybe you can disable that for now. So for this Cocoon situation, you need to get that to Mirjan, right? And
That's right.
the Navy's following. And also, as long as that mouse is anywhere near the ship, then the Cedar Phantoms will be able to destroy it with a weapon that is in space.
Come again?
In space, there used to be stuff all over in space. Most of it's gone, crashed down, or turned into junk, or just wound down. But they got their hands on an orbital weapon, and they've been using it every once in a while. Things just disappear out on the ocean, or
Lucky perks up when she talks about space and things falling from the sky.
yeah, there's a small town just completely obliterated a few months back. So
I think there's just a growing look of horror on Somewhere's face as she gets this explanation.
yeah, they're going to be targeting using that mouse.
Little guy. Wait,
Well,
so if we put the mouse on the other ship, two birds, one stone.
Oh, you could drop it from the dragon.
She nods as well. It would be difficult for me to get close to those ships. There are a lot of guns, and they're kind of specialized for shooting at dragons.
I can do it.
I could do it as well. I could teleport.
It's true.
She nods, and she looks again at the mouse, and she says, I mean, I know it's just a mouse, but maybe if we get the pack off of it.
Oh, the pack is the detonator, basically, or the transceiver.
Yeah, the pack is the transceiver.
What do you think the helmet's for?
She squints at it, and she's like, I don't know.
Well, if you took me with you on the dragon, I could jump off onto the ship, drop the transceiver, and then teleport back to you and get away.
She looks at you and she says, how far can you survive falling?
What's the closest you could get?
She looks and she says, their guns fall off around, I don't know. Let me look up some distances here.
It's cool. I got some magic. I can make it work.
Yeah, it's basically she's saying she has to fly up high enough that their guns can't hit her, but she can drop you from there.
Well, maybe the clouds can help.
Maybe they can. Okay. Yeah, let's jump into this. Pun not intended, but appreciated all the same by myself.
All right, Lucky's gonna do a halo drop. Let's go.
Okay, so yeah, Lucky, you're with Mint. You get onto the back of this this tachyon dragon, and normally people don't ride the tachyon dragons. This is something that they will bear it in an emergency.
I hand her the air plant, and I'm like, no matter what, do not drop this.
Yeah, she straps it on to to the sort of palanquin style thing that's set up on top of this dragon. This dragon is big. Like, it's a big dragon. It's about probably the size of your boat turtle, your turtle boat.
I think before Lucky gets onto the dragon, Somewhere just kind of claps him on the back and it's like, Lucky. Take care
We're gonna. I've survived one traumatic fall from the sky. I think I could survive another one. Otherwise, my namesake won't be earned.
All right. Yeah, you take off. This dragon's got like, I'm gonna say 6 wings, serpentine
This
body,
is terrifying.
and
Oh yeah.
Somewhere is
Hell
Jack.
yeah, like a beard kind of thing going on, but instead of hair, it's like crystal
Sick.
threads, horns, 3 horns, 1 pointing forward, 2 pointing back on the head. The eyes are very intelligent, 4 of them, 2 on each side. And the scales are this chromatic, like an oil slick kind of
So
pearlescent
take
deal.
good care of Syzygy for me, which is the name
We
of my
will.
plant.
She nods, says, "With my life," and gives you a little salute as they fly over the boat. While we're prepping that, on the boat, are we operating on the mouse?
Ada is intently studying the helmet for a brow.
Okay. I'll just basically tell you, if you are studying the helmet like that, you'll see that it apparently is connected to the mouse's like brain matter.
Whoa,
It's got some wires going from the helmet into the mouse's brain.
dang,
Spooky.
that is spooky. That's a little out of my pay grade.
Yeah, the mouse is clearly terrified, of course. It is just a mouse, and here it is.
Engaged in espionage.
Okay. All right. So what scene do we want to focus on first, or do we want to hop back and forth between the Ancanthian ship and the mouse? Or I guess we need to do Operation Mouse before we do Acanthian ship.
What's the danger from the mouse at this point?
You need to disconnect this device from the mouse in order to put it onto the Acanthian ship.
Oh, so we have to do that. This is happening before the dragon drop.
Yeah. Sorry, it's
The dragon drop.
wasn't clear. The dragon drop, yeah.
Dragon drop. Cool. All right, well, yeah, like I said, that's definitely out of my grade.
I mean, I can have a look, I suppose.
All right.
Don't usually do brains. It was a bit fleshy for me, but I can give it a go. I've got my
There is tech in here, though, right?
yeah, it's halfway there to what I know how to do. I have my magnifying lenses and my actually and fine engineering tools.
Ooh.
I'll probably want. Fine lens, goggles or glasses equipped with thousands of levels of magnification for fine precision work. So yeah, just got some stuff. Fine engineering tools includes precision micro arms.
Mm-hmm.
Anything
That's
you
probably
want
going to be
to
handy here.
repairs and build, modify, or disassemble tech.
Okay. So you're going to attempt to detach this, but keep it active, right?
Yeah,
Seems like it's probably finesse, right?
probably. I have one of those.
Or is it shape? Modify existing machinery?
It's. I think. Okay. Here's what I will say. Because your patient in this case is extremely tiny, shape would be low impact. However, with the magnifying lenses, I think that would make it standard for shape, and the fine engineering tools would bring it up to great.
Love that.
Whereas finesse would start at standard.
So I'll take shape then, if that's getting me
All right.
that either way.
So we at risky great effect.
Yeah. So I'll do that. I'll roll my. I think I have 2.
That is where you start. Yeah, you start with 2.
I'll push myself. Get that extra dice.
Okay.
We love a 3. What's the position? Risky.
Risky. Yeah, sorry. I forgot to subtract the harmony from last time.
Great. With 1 bonus dice.
Okay. So you got a 5 on your roll there.
Mhm.
Let me see here. Risky consequences. What's the interesting response here? I don't think this impacts the Acanthian Navy's pursuit at all, so that's not an interesting thing. They're kind of busy with the dragon flying around above them.
I mean, it could just be a factor of time.
Yeah, I'm just I'm trying to think of what's a more interesting narrative consequence here. Okay. Yeah, I think what will happen here is your fine engineering tools as you are working on this job. This is even smaller than what you're used to, and as you've said, you don't normally work with brains. So your fine engineering tools get a little bit kind of burned out here, which means you won't be able to use them again until you get them repaired or replaced.
Cool. I'm for that. So in that case, I might use my melody move.
Okay.
You can play your melody to resist a consequence from technological malfunction or damage.
Excellent. So how do you avoid this situation? You can see that the tools are like starting to overheat and starting to shake and rattle as they're doing this very tiny, very fine movements that you're asking them to do.
I think I look into this mouse's little eyes, and I'm just like, sucks having a brain. And I'm just feel sort of
Gosh, it's
deep resolve. And I'm just like, I'm sad, and I'm like, this is fine. Probably some kind of weird thing I can do to like redirect the heat from the tools and like redistribute it through my body
Okay.
in a way that just like lets it dissipate nice and evenly, so we're all having a great time.
There's a faint glow in the LEDs, some forgotten, some still in use throughout your body as the heat moves through them. And the helmet comes away. The little mouse will grow back the hair that was once atop its little head. And you have the pack extracted, and we can jump back to the jump.
Can't believe we did surgery on a mouse.
I think the mouse, once you have so delicately done this, maybe like runs up your arm onto your shoulder or something like that.
all right.
Friendship.
Are we interested in running along with the idea that I posted in the Roll20 chat? If not, we can just proceed with the jump. But
There's no reason you can't do both of those things.
okay.
I'm
So yeah,
very
when
proud of this.
the pack gets removed and we're about to run it up, and then somewhere is just, wait, we're not thinking far enough ahead here. We have to do something about whatever weapon they have up in the sky that allows them to do this.
Are we at least gonna wait till they accidentally shoot themselves?
It can, but we have a very... I don't think any of us will ever get an opportunity where we have one of their targeting things in our possession before it's activated.
I have a suggestion here, building
Yes.
on this excellent idea that you've put forward here. Once it fires, you will know where it fired from.
That's a very good point.
Just an idea if we don't want to do any other types of technological situations. Also, we're a little low on time at this point.
Mm-hmm.
That's true. Yeah, we can try and target it once it fires. So yeah, let's do the jump then.
Okay. Yeah, you leap off the back of a dragon. How does that go, Lucky?
Okay, well, I had a couple thoughts here. I could declare a jump kit, I think, which would be narrative reasoning enough for me to do this safely. Or I could try to use my charm tongue again to, like, make the nature of reality, help glide me down gently. Maybe talk to the air into helping me feather fall or something like that. Though, if it was that, I'm thinking it's either I'm going to use the jump kit and do some sort of wayfare thing to, like, land safely, or I'm going to connect and talk to the clouds that I've already spoken to see if they can help let me down gently.
Okay.
And both of those sound cool.
Which do you prefer?
Do you think there would be any mechanical difference between them?
I think with the charm tongue, the main difference is you will definitely have to spend that stress. Like,
Okay.
And then you will have, was it one stress left?
Yeah, I'll declare gear then instead, and save some stress.
I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. So I think that also puts me at my limit because the jump kit is 2.
Your empathetic animal companion doesn't actually take up.
Oh,
load.
fair. Cool. I was worried about, like, not having a weapon in case something went wrong as I land on the enemy ship.
Yeah,
Cool,
that's a
cool.
fair concern.
Yeah. Sweet. All right. Let's do this. Yeah, I think it's Wayfair then. If I was to ask for a Lotus Gambit here, do you have any thoughts?
I can probably come up with one. All right, so you are jumping off of a dragon through anti-aircraft fire onto an enemy boat.
With the jump kit.
Control.
Yeah, and all right, so you're using text. So you're not using any magic for this. Lotus Gambit here could be quite interesting.
I'm leaning more on my, like, scout spy history that I don't actually remember, but muscle memory.
Okay. Collateral damage, unintended harm. A Lotus Gambit, I think you will take harm. You will sprain something.
Yeah, I accept.
Okay. Then you get an
Cool.
extra die, and it'll be a level 1 harm when you land.
Sounds good. Okay. So it's going to be... The sheets let you do, like, auto rolls with, like, prompts to add stuff, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You said it was risky?
It is risky.
Okay.
Right, with the jump gear, your effect is going to be standard here.
Cool. And 1 bonus die for the Lotus Gambit.
Yeah. There's a 6.
Hell yeah.
Nice.
Nice.
That means we
Do
get
you want-
a... Oh, wait, no, it's not desperate. Never mind. What are you saying?
You want to describe this scene to us as the anti-air fire is exploding around you?
Yeah. This is so scary. Holy crap. Jumping from a dragon into anti-aircraft fire onto a ship into the ocean. What does the jump kit look like? maybe it's kind of like one of those. Oh man, these videos just give me anxiety thinking about them. But those like glider suits that people wear,
Yeah.
and they have those like those videos where they're like gliding in between like crevasses and mountains and stuff. I think it's something like that. And I think I have to like kind of circle a little bit to like try to lose momentum to land. And I think that's when I still don't lose enough momentum and I land on the top of the ship pretty forcefully and sprain my foot pretty badly.
Okay. So note down your level 1 harm, I guess sprained foot or sprained ankle or one of those two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah, you've landed on the ship, and this is definitely, one of those moments where there's the extremely dramatic music playing.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of a way that I can like implant this device like in a way that they won't like immediately find it, because I feel like if something like landed forcefully on the top of the ship, they would immediately go investigate, and I want to figure out a way to conceal this thing. Anything in my gear?
It might just be something along the lines of a finesse,
Yeah, I'm bad
like,
at that.
or maybe even like a shadow.
Oh, and since it's free, I'm definitely wearing my striking outfit.
Oh, of course.
It kind of looks like the pit crew. It's like kind of like a white robe poncho kind of thing that has all kinds of like weird ornate kind of designs in it. Finesse. So I don't have that. I have shape. That could be deploying hardware, right?
You could maybe get in a fight with somebody and plant it on them.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, that's the thing, because like, I want to be able to immediately teleport back out of here with my tether blink, before any harm comes on me.
You could try to ambush somebody, maybe.
Yeah. I have skirmish.
If you're doing an ambush, you can use shadow for that too.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're equal ratings for me.
Okay. Shadow specifically says ambush with close violence, so that's probably a better fit.
Is there anybody like that I can see that's like alone that I could strike at?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you did just land on their ship amidst all the fire. There are probably a lot of soldiers, and they're probably all looking for you. So because they saw you fly down in your jump kit there, so they're all looking for you. So you can probably find one who is at least momentarily alone if your shadow roll ends up going well here. Though I do think we are in a desperate situation.
Cool.
Here on this boat. You're literally behind enemy lines, surrounded.
Yeah, fair. At least I have a quick out if I need it. Let's see. Oh man, I want to save stress to resist, but then also it's so risky to resist anything that I might as well just spend the stress to try to make the roll go better.
True.
Okay, because yeah, I'm at that awkward 6 out of 9 place. Okay.
Red Forge in the Dark games in a nutshell.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Because I have at least enough stress to push myself one more time, which I guess I will do because both of the relevant actions here, I only have one in, and I'm not feeling a 50-50 right now. I want better odds than that. Is there anything that anybody could have done to help me in advance with this mission?
I don't know.
To make you sneakier?
Yeah.
I don't know either.
Is there any type of spell or anything that the witch could do?
maybe flashback and take a stress to like do like a stealth charm. That seems something suitably magic.
That sounds sick, actually.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So flashback. I am just kind of like drawing like a henna tattoo or something.
hmm
And I'm just like, giving you like the conditions of how effective it's going to be. And it's like, they're probably going to see you come down. They're probably going to see you fall to the ship. But once you're relatively still, this should probably keep you from being detected.
Cool.
So they'll know you're there, but they don't know where you. There
So
it is.
yeah, I think I land. I sort of wait for somebody to be sent up to check for it, and I just kind of sit there patiently and quietly and just kind of blend into the surroundings like a chameleon, waiting for this person to show up, and then I will ambush them and then plant the thing on their body.
Okay. Let's give it a roll then.
That
Okay.
roll.
All right, so 3d6 desperate.
Yes.
You have less impact because you sprained your ankle, and this is a physical thing you're doing.
It is.
So it would be, I would say, desperate standard. You have less impact, so it would be desperate low to start with here.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? You got an assist, right?
That's
Yeah.
right.
The assist adds a die, not impact here. Sorry.
I mean, it could do either. Ooh, do I want 3 dice? Well, okay. What would low versus standard impacts look like here? Before I make the decision.
I think it's going to depend for impact. It'll depend on how quickly the person will be able to find it. So, like if it's low impact, it will stay on them for like a couple of minutes before they notice it's there. They might not know what it is because the cedar phantoms are not public knowledge even within Acanthia.
Yeah.
But they will notice it for that.
I think I'm going to
Higher.
take the 2 dice and use the assistance to bump up my effect. Because if I get wrecked here, I at least have an escape rope.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Works for me.
Alrighty.
Make that
And
roll.
And if I wanted to save that harmony for another thing. Let's see. That involves talking, which is not what's happening here. I'll leave the harmony. Let's just hope that I generate one here. That's 2. Wait, that's 1 bonus die. Yeah. 6.
Nice.
Hell yes.
Yeah.
Oh
Very
man,
good.
Lucky's been quite lucky.
Okay.
And it's desperate,
So yeah,
so
tell us.
more harmony.
This Acanthian sailor comes up, and they are looking around, and they've got their Acanthian helmet. It's got like a bit of a point on it, and nose
Can I do
guard.
some
No.
Sweet. Yeah, I kind of, as they go to investigate and they don't see me at first, I leap at them from behind. Let's see. I should declare a weapon probably. In this assault, what weapon options do I have? Let's see. What is spark shot?
There's a gun.
Yeah. I'm gonna do a strange weapon, maybe. And it's just sort of like a stun, like a taser kind of thing.
Okay.
I don't think Lucky's necessarily violent, but I do want to incapacitate this person. Yeah, and then I stuff the transponder into their armor or their jacket or whatever, and then I teleport back to the dragon.
All right.
I think Mint gives you a bit of a surprised look when you teleport back, but she says, "You got it."
She probably has to like grab me as I teleport onto the dragon into an awkward position, especially because like I can't like get my leg around it because my leg is injured.
Yeah.
So she probably has to like grab me.
She's grabbed you around the waist. She's like, "Okay, I got you. Did you get it?"
Yeah.
Let's get
Cool.
out of here. She turns
Yeah.
and flies back towards Bridget.
Sweet.
Back aboard the ship, you are continuing back towards. Are you continuing on to Mirjan now?
I think
Yeah.
so, right?
Okay. So I'm going to use that roll that you just got, and you got a 6, so we add a harmony. Goes a 6 on a desperate roll.
Oh yeah, hell yeah.
So I'm going to tick up the Reach Mirjan. Oops, sorry, I accidentally clicked random side. So we were there. 1, 2. Okay. I'm going to tick it up twice there because you have sown confusion in the pursuing ships, and now they're like trying to figure out what was he doing here, what's going on. So they've slowed down a bit, and you have a dragon escort, which is helping with the other issues as you make your way up through the passage between Koaya and Rialta. And it is as you are passing between these two islands that you see the clouds that were still obligingly dazzling the pursuing navy part, and it's as if they were blown apart because this shape streaks down through the sky and slams into the boat that you were on. And as you look at it, you can see that it is just a spike. It is just a rail of maybe black something. It's trailing smoke, but it slams into the boat, and the boat immediately begins sinking. It's folding in half from the force of the impact, quite thoroughly dead in the water. And the other boat is rocked by the wave generated by this impact, and the wave is coming towards you as well. And the pulses from the cocoon, oddly enough, are also pushing back against this incoming wave. So it's not as bad for you as it could have been. But yes, you from there can calculate where that must have come from.
All right, so I'm going to flash back my plan. So real quick. So we use the weapon firing to suss out its relative position in space. We have a Dragon Witch, we have a Lunamoth Seeker, we have a Tachyon Dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And then Lucky is also magical. This is a lot of magical power that we've got. So if we all work together and channel the power being given off by the cocoon, maybe we can redirect it up into space and take out this weapon.
Yeah,
once the weapon has blown up the ships.
That's right. This is a
Cool.
flashback from when that happens.
Yeah, this is so good.
Nice. All right.
Do you want this to be a group action?
It could be. I feel like this is probably going to be the last major roll, so
Probably.
yeah, I'll lead it. And yeah, I think this is probably going to be a tune.
Okay. What's your pitch for tune here?
Like I said, we're just
I
channeling
have
the
0
transcend.
despite being
force,
magical.
Within ourselves, within the Tachyon Dragon that's helping us, within the cocoon that we're transporting, within Brejik, within the ocean itself, and we're just going to blast it up into space where we think that this satellite cannon is.
Sick.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Can I spend the harmony I just generated on this since I have 0?
Yeah.
You've got 2 harmony
Sweet.
as well there, and you can still push yourself on these things.
I cannot.
Well, yes, you can. But,
I mean, I don't have 2 stress to.
oh yeah, that's true. Okay.
I'm going
I
to
was
play
looking at
my
the wrong
melody.
sheet.
I will be water. You can play your melody to resist a magical consequence or to push yourself when you channel transcendent forces.
Awesome.
Nice.
All right, so I'm going to click that so I get myself 3 dice for this roll.
What's the position?
What is the position effect of this?
Well, you are trying to take out a cannon in space, or a railgun in space. I think we are still in a desperate position here, because if you fire at this thing and miss, or it doesn't hit true, then just as you found it, it can find you.
All right. If we save that harmony, I can.
Well, there's two.
Oh, there's two? Okay. Thought one might have been spent. Okay, so played my
You can
melody to push.
empty the harmony bank here.
Yeah, seriously. Is there one more? Because I also have.
We have 2 harmony to start with. I think Lucky was using one due to not having tune. So
Cool.
that means
Okay.
there's one free one remaining.
Yeah, I'm going to use that other one.
I
Okay.
also don't have tune, and also I'm very non-magical, and so I think Penelope is just sort of standing watching them feeding
You
grapes
can
to
you can assist a group
her new
action.
best friend.
You can assist a group action?
Yeah.
Ooh, who wants help?
If you're you can assist a player who's rolling, even if they are rolling as part of a group action. So as a character can assist a group action, but only if they aren't taking part in it directly.
Interesting. Okay.
Okay.
Can we save one of those harmonies then and have the assist give one of you +1 then?
Well, with the time left, I think this is probably the last big roll.
Yeah, you're not going to need anything else.
Oh, I was just going to use the harmony to get out of paying a stress cost.
Oh, okay. It's a currency for you for there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if you assist Lucky instead, then that could work. You're doing like
Absolutely.
calculations and trajectories and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just there. Also build moral support. I've got a new best friend. And I'm like, yes.
All right, and with the assistance of the Tachyon Dragon as well, I think we're at great effect here.
All right. So
I
Jester-
introduced the mouse.
Position, great effects.
I introduced the mouse to Syzygy, my plant friend. All right, I'm ready to go on the roll.
Yep.
Great.
Let's do it.
I submit.
All right, there's a 6 in there and 1 failure.
I got another
so
6.
Oh my god.
every single roll I've made in this game has been a 6.
That's
my
wild.
name has been a blessing.
Can't believe you hacked into the mainframe like this.
How dare you? All right, so yeah, the I think Bregic rolls on its side in time for one of those pulses. You time the angle and the motion of it to perfection, and the blast from it zooms up into space and back through that hole in the clouds that's slowly reforming. And it is just a light, but it's also a transcendent light.
I
And
like the
as
idea of the Tachyon Dragon kind of like coiling around the pulse of light going up and kind of guiding it like that.
Yeah, for sure. And the Tachyon Dragon is, imparting energy from themselves into this beam, in addition to the magical transcendent forces that you are all channeling into it. So it slams through the cloud cover, out through the atmosphere, and we get a shot of this ancient, carbon-scored, pitted by micrometeorite impacts satellite weapon platform turning slowly towards this light. But before anything can happen, the light engulfs it, and there's just micro explosions as it crumples in on itself, completely imploding and falling into the atmosphere. It looks like a shooting star that you can see streaking across the sky as it burns up, never to be used again.
Yay!
Sometime later, you arrive at Mirjan, and where do you keep your UFO? Lucky.
I think it's like crashed in the jungle somewhere.
Okay.
I think I live there though. I think I go back to there to sleep.
Okay. When the Cocoon is on this island, your UFO begins to power up. Systems that have been offline since you crashed begin to come online as if in response to some type of signal. And as that is happening, the rest of you who are presumably attending to the cocoon, see that it too is beginning to pulse more rapidly, almost as if it were a code that it was sending out. And gradually, in the lagoon that it has been placed into, this cocoon begins to crack open, and you see from within it comes a great wing, delicate, like a filigree of lace. And the cocoon cracks and cracks and cracks some more. And as it finally opens, what unfurls those wings and antennae that reach into the sky is a gigantic butterfly glowing faintly in the night, easily the size of, a jumbo jet. The wings are slowly drying as it emerges from its metamorphosis. And as it does, it takes to the sky and flies over towards Lucky's UFO. The lights pulsing from its thorax are pulsing in time to the lights coming from this spaceship, as the reason for Lucky's return becomes more and more clear within his mind.
Hell yeah.
And I think we will leave it there.
Very nice.
Well played, everyone. Wow.
Yeah.
That was rad.
That was so fun.
Thank you all for joining us on this. That was great.
Thank you,
Had a lot
everyone,
of
for
fun.
tuning in.
Let's do a power outro and get out of here.
Please make sure that you visit the donation links, tiltify.com/@roleplusbond or donate.roleplusbond.com to raise money in support of the Native American Rights Fund, which we have been playing in support of today. Thank you so much for joining me. Somewhere, let's see, Miranda playing Somewhere, Devin playing Lucky, Ben playing Ada, and Vivian playing Penelope. And I've been ARP.
Take care,
That was
everyone.
Songs for the Dusk.
Later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.